Chapter 548. Rui Bu Tong's spirit had clearly been stimulated to the point that it had become somewhat manic. Chu Yang couldn't stop him from yelling. It couldn't be helped. This guy had received too much stimulation today. Two silhouettes rushed over in a panic. They were two emperor-level experts. Stealing God and thieving ghost had appeared. Bu Tong, what's wrong? Who bullied my disciple? The two old men landed on the ground. They glared at Chu Yang and Tan Tan like tigers watching their prey. Master, I want to improve my strength. I can't stand it anymore. Rui Bu Tong wept bitterly. Who are these two people? Thieving Ghost looked at Tan Tan and Chu Yang suspiciously. This sentence made Tan Tan resentful. He angrily said, "Old man, don't you have any manners? This is my elder brother, and his younger martial brother." Rui Bu Tong hurriedly introduced them. He was afraid that his master and big brother would misunderstand. "Well, what stimulated you?" Stealing God asked. "My brothers are already level 4 or 5 king-level experts." Rui Bu Tong said with infinite sadness, "I'm the weakest. Master, I won't come out if I don't reach level 4 or 5 this time." Stealing God and thieving Ghost's complexion changed. Chu Yang's hair stood on end after he had learned about it. He sucked in a breath of cold air. There was a strange space inside this natural array. Stealing God and thieving Ghost were two martial warriors who had been chased here by their enemies. They had mistakenly entered this place, and had discovered that there was another world inside. There were ancient ruins inside this place. There were 3 corpses inside. A sheepskin scroll had clearly stated this. There were martial arts techniques and secret books. There was also a strange array that could gather the spirit energy of heaven and earth. It could be infused into a person's body once every 10 years. Stealing God and thieving Ghost had used this method to promote their cultivation to king-level experts in a very short time. However, their foundations had already taken shape at that time. Moreover, they were also quite old. Their cultivation hadn't been promoted after they had reached level 3 emperor-level experts. Moreover, the strange array seemed to have gradually lost its effect because they had been using it for a long time. Finally, they issued a warning only one person could be allowed. Moreover, there was only one last chance for promotion. They obviously wanted to give this last chance to their most prized disciple. 3 days after Rui Bu Tong's return, the two masters were overjoyed. Because Rui Bu Tong's cultivation had advanced very quickly, he had completely reached the standard required here. Therefore, the two of them excitedly brought their younger brother over. Chu Yang felt a chill in his heart when he heard this. It's unknown how much this strange formation can help people improve once it's activated. In short, as long as you're still inside, the spiritual energy will continue to pour in. Stealing God and thieving Ghost had never persevered until the end of the infusion of spirit energy. Not once. And this was the last chance. Rui Bu Tong had been seriously provoked by himself again. Chu Yang felt that this matter was a little serious. This, cough cough, old. You must come out in time if you can't hold on any longer. Chu Yang pinched his nose and swallowed back the words he was about to say. Your life is more important. No. Rui Bu Tong snorted, his face full of stubbornness. Chu Yang was extremely helpless. He could only take out the incomplete version of the heavy pill and adjust Rui Bu Tong's physical strength to the best state. As for the rest, he could only resign himself to fate. His heart was filled with unspeakable regret. There was one thing to add here. Ever since Tan Tan's physique had changed, all kinds of herbs and other things were completely ineffective for him. Even the heavy pill had no effect on him. Finally, the time had come when Stealing God and thieving Ghost were waiting anxiously. Now, the 5 of them were inside the space of that big formation. Opposite them was a smooth stone platform, which was the eye of the formation. Once that strange formation was activated, Rui Bu Tong would only need to stand on that stone platform and accept the infusion of spirit energy. As long as Rui Bu Tong didn't come down, no one could interfere. Once they interfered, the formation would be turned into fine powder along with Rui Bu Tong. Only Rui Bu Tong could make his own decisions and figure out his own limit. But now, Rui Bu Tong was in such a crazy state. The 3 of them were sweating in their hearts. It's all your fault. Stealing God looked at Chu Yang angrily. The moustache at the side of his mouth was sticking up. Sigh. Chu Yang sighed. Finally, a buzzing sound resounded. That stone platform suddenly emitted a dazzling light. A whirlwind blew up from the stone platform and rushed up. Suddenly, 7 colors appeared in the sky. A rich spirit energy spiraled up from the sky. It slowly turned into a visible cyan color. Then, the color slowly became deeper and deeper. The time has come. Butong, you must come out if you can't bear it. Thieving Ghost held his disciple's hand and urged him over and over again. Don't worry, Master. This disciple will never lose face for Master, Rui Butong said firmly. Old. Chu Yang shouted. Big brother. Rui Butong turned around. No matter what, it's most important to come out alive. Chu Yang looked deeply into his eyes. Rui Butong faintly smiled and said, Big brother, do you still remember what you said? What did I say? You once said, you hoped that you would have us by your side when you become a legend. And, you would be in our legend when we become legends. Rui Butong said deeply, Big brother, you don't know how our hearts felt after you said that. How many years has it been? How many people can become a legend? And how many people can leave their names in the legend? But you said it, Big brother. Ever since then, we have been moving towards this goal. Rui Butong took a breath. Big brother, if one day, you become a legend, and I'm still alive, but I can't stand by your side, or rather, I don't deserve to stand by your side. Do you know that I would rather die? If you become a legend, and I'm not by your side, then I can only say that I'm already dead. Rui Butong said firmly, we're brothers. If I don't go up when you're at your peak, you won't feel good either. Although I've failed, I'll also be a regret in your hearts. This is my chance. I can't let it go. Rui Butong strode forward, resolutely walking towards the stone platform. When he reached the edge of the stone platform, he suddenly turned his head and smiled. Big brother, if I become a legend, you will definitely be in my legend. Then, with a leap, he stood on the stone platform. The whistling flow of spiritual energy suddenly became louder at this moment. The sound it made was like a tsunami. The deep cyan flow of spiritual energy was about to drown Rui Butong's figure in an instant. A mighty purple cyan spiritual energy suddenly poured down from the top of the stone platform. It formed a sharp cone shape and fiercely pierced into the area of the deep cyan flow of spiritual energy. It pierced right into the top of Rui Butong's head. Rui Butong's whole body trembled. His face twisted, but he didn't say a word. He tightly closed his lips and gritted his teeth. Hiss tilde tilde tilde. The spiritual energy in the air suddenly squeezed and rolled. It continuously formed purple cyan spiritual energy, and crazily poured into this place. Chu Yang fiercely clenched his fists. His fingernails dug deeply into his flesh. He silently said in his heart, Butong, old man, stand firm. When one day I become a legend, I hope that I'll have you by my side. Stealing God and Thieving Ghost tightly clenched their fists. Their faces were full of concern. They opened their mouths and looked at their beloved disciple who was shrouded in the cyan light. The muscles of their entire bodies were stretched taut. The sound of breathing was hurried. Cold sweat seeped out of their bodies little by little. When I went in that year, the longest time I could maintain it was half an hour. Stealing God wiped the sweat from his face. He still had some lingering fear in his heart. The longest time I've been in there was less than half an hour. Staying in there can make a breakthrough and increase one's strength. But that kind of feeling is really worse than death. Thieving Ghost's eyes looked inside the cyan light as he said unconsciously. He seemed to have remembered the feeling of that year. He quivered and shivered. It's been so many years, but I still want to tremble every time I see this thing. I would rather die than go in there again. Yes. I advanced by 1 grade that time, Stealing God sighed. I also advanced by 1 grade that time. Thieving Ghost lowered his head. Our disciple is stronger than both of us. But I'm afraid that he doesn't want to live. Stealing God and Thieving Ghost looked at each other with worried faces. He will definitely succeed. Chu Yang looked at the cyan light and said firmly, I hope so. The two old men sighed at the same time. We only have one brother. We also hope that he can achieve something. You two brothers becoming sworn brothers is your business. We are very happy that he has so many good brothers. But we also don't want him to be outdone by his brothers. Stealing God smiled bitterly. Being outdone by the enemy is hatred. Being outdone by one's own brothers is a sign of inferiority. Inferiority is always more frightening than hatred for a person's growth. Chu Yang said deeply, "My brothers won't feel inferior. They will never." He said it resolutely and decisively. There was no room for doubt. Time passed little by little. A quarter of an hour, half an hour. The cyan ball of light suddenly trembled, sending out ripples after ripples. His about to break through. Stealing God's face was serious. Chu Yang didn't say a word. He just looked at the cyan light. The light was trembling more and more violently. Finally, there was a silent explosion. The aura of a breakthrough was clearly transmitted from the light. Rui Bu Tong had broken through to the 3rd grade of king level. The cyan light returned to its original position after the trembling. It continued to maintain a dense mist. Rui Bu Tong closed his eyes and stood in the cyan light. If someone could see his appearance at this moment, they would be shocked. They wouldn't be able to bear to look at him. His entire body was trembling and spasming. Every meridian seemed to be breaking down and reassembling. Every tendon was twisting and bulging out. The muscles on his face were oozing with blood. However, he clenched his teeth and didn't say a word. This wasn't just about improving one's strength. It was also testing one's willpower. This kind of improvement was undoubtedly painful. In fact, it was extremely painful. But it was precisely because he had gone through such pain that his future path would be smooth. The spirit energy continued to pour into him. Soon, it was the time for the second breakthrough. However, the spirit energy gathered in the sky was still increasing. Chapter 549. Another half-hour passed. The green spirit aura halo trembled once again, and became dense, and Rui Bu Tong inside the halo once again suffered the torture of having his body crushed and his bones crush. However, this stubborn youngster still tightly clenched his teeth, and didn't utter a single sound. He knew that his big brother and master outside would be worried as long as he moaned. He couldn't make any sound. They would know that he could still persevere if he didn't make any sound. 2 hours passed. He had advanced by 2 grade. Stealing God and Thieving Ghost looked at each other. Rui Bu Tong had advanced twice as much as they had at the beginning. However, Rui Bu Tong still hadn't come out. There was no movement. Could it be that he could still persevere? 3.5 hours passed. The spirit aura in the sky was still increasing. Endless spirit aura was still rushing over from afar, and was gathering. It seemed as if the wind and clouds were gathering. The green spirit aura halo finally began to tremble again after nearly 4 hours had passed. It became dense, and spread out. Another breakthrough. 6 hours had passed. Stealing God and Thieving Ghost were trembling from head to toe. Their faces were full of despair. They couldn't even cry. Bu Tong, why haven't you come out yet? These two Emperor-level experts felt endless regret at this moment. They regretted that they had personally sent their proud younger brother into this death zone. 3 hours had passed. There should be no hope. Chu Yang deeply wrinkled his brows. He was about to move when the sword spirit suddenly stopped him. Don't move. Don't disturb him. Huh? Chu Yang was surprised. Don't move, sword spirit said. Then, he didn't make any sound. He slowly said with a dignified look in his eyes, if I'm not wrong, this place must be. He didn't say what it must be. Instead, he said doubtfully, but how can such a thing be preserved in this world? Rui Bu Tong's body inside the halo had already become unrecognizable. This time, along with the breakthrough came great pressure and great pain. It seemed as if his entire body would collapse and be crushed into meat paste. His tall and straight body was slowly being compressed and bent. The sound of bones breaking was unceasingly heard. Blood fiercely spurted out of his 7 orifices. Suddenly, a thunder-like explosion came from the spirit aura gathering in the sky at this moment. Boom! The entire far north wasteland fiercely jumped. The chi gathering in the sky suddenly turned purple. Just as everyone was inexplicably shocked, the purple spirit chi suddenly pressed down and entered this strange formation. Above the formation, a dignified voice slowly said, "Nirvana." With a boom, the azure chi on the stone platform transformed into a purple chi halo. The scope of the halo suddenly expanded by a fold. A purple chi fire burned fiercely on the outside of the circle of light. It swept up, burning the entire top floor of the main hall into nothingness in an instant. Then, it rose into the air, and half of the sky turned purple. Nirvana. The sword spirit heaved a sigh of relief. This is indeed the Phoenix clan's Nirvana array. Who would have thought that after 10,000 years, he would once again see this mystical array? Chuyang, you don't have to worry. Chuyang didn't need to worry. He was so excited that he almost jumped up in joy. Rui Butong actually had such a fortuitous encounter. The Phoenix clan's Nirvana meant that Rui Butong had been recognized by the Phoenix clan. From now on, Rui Butong was almost immortal. For such a great thing to happen to his own brother, Chuyang was simply overjoyed. At the same time, there was a hint of doubt in his heart. Could it be that Rui Butong actually had the Phoenix bloodline? What was going on? After hearing Chuyang's explanation, Stealing God and Thieving Ghost also smiled excitedly, their faces full of gratification. But Rui Butong, who was in the halo, didn't think so. He only felt a mountain-like pressure pressing down on him. Pressing down. In the end, his body couldn't take it anymore. With a soft sound, the flesh below his right calf exploded violently. His bones also turned into powder at this moment. Rui Butong groaned in despair and fell to the ground. Then, he was surprised to find that a purple flame rose from under his feet, burning his right calf that had already turned into powder. As it burned, Rui Butong felt a sharp pain in his soul. It was as if his soul was being sliced apart by someone's blade. No. It was much more painful than that. He couldn't even scream. The purple flame suddenly retracted and disappeared. Rui Butong, who was in great pain, suddenly realized that his right calf was still intact. He blinked hard and looked again. Yes, it was still there. Rui Butong was at a loss. What was going on? It had clearly turned into paste just now. Just as he was thinking this, another wave of violent pressure pressed down on him. His left calf also exploded. Then, a similar purple flame swept up. But this time, Rui Butong was no longer panicking. He was only trying hard to maintain a clear mind under the cruelest punishment in the world. Right knee. Explosion. Left knee. Explosion. Right thigh, left leg, waist and buttocks. When Rui Butong's lumbar vertebrae and the body below his neck suddenly exploded, this kind of pain reached the greatest degree. Rui Butong's mind suddenly became muddled and he groaned in pain. Purple flames engulfed him and reformed his body. But this time, it didn't immediately fade away. Instead, it burned fiercely as it reformed his body. There was another spiritual energy thunderstorm in the sky. It was still that dignified voice, Ni tilde pan. With a boom, all the purple spiritual energy in the sky pressed down fiercely. All the purple flames on the ground rushed up fiercely. Rui Butong's head suddenly exploded at this moment. Then, the thick purple spiritual energy rushed down from the top. It fiercely surrounded the head. The purple flame phoenix ignited and turned all the spiritual energy that formed the spiritual energy circle into a purple flame that soared to the sky. The purple flame soared to the sky and reached thousands of feet. According to everyone's visual estimation, this flame was perhaps more than thousands of feet. But, no one knew that if they were to measure it specifically, it would be more than 1,000 feet. The rising heat made Chuyang, Stealing God and Thieving Ghost leave this hall in a flash, and go 1,000 feet away. Only when Tan Tan retreated, the marks on his forehead and chest, and the light golden eyebrows flashed fiercely. It seemed that the marks had become a little bigger at this moment. Tan Tan frowned as he looked at the rising purple flame in front of him. A trace of blurred color flashed across his face as he muttered, "It's so familiar. I seem to have seen this kind of flame somewhere." Then, his whole body fiercely trembled. His eyes suddenly turned pitch black as he said, Ni tilde pan soars to the Big Dipper. Purple clouds roam freely, fire burns the heavens. 110. Phoenix, are you still there? Tan Tan's accent was very dignified when he said these words. It didn't seem like his usual nonsense. Moreover, these few words were filled with the domineering aura of a king who looked down on all living things in disdain. An indescribable aura of vicissitudes of life fiercely erupted from Tan Tan's body. Then, it immediately disappeared. Tan Tan's eyes regained their normal color. Then, he shouted, "What a big fire!" Then, he ran away in fear. No one had seen this change. The fire burned for 3 hours. Adding up all the time, Rui Biu Tong had been inside for a total of 14 hours. The fire slowly weakened from thousands of feet. It shrunk to 1,000 feet, then to 100 feet, then to 30 feet. Then, it suddenly disappeared. The entire hall changed into specks of dust the moment the fire disappeared. Then, it dissipated without a trace. Rui Butong's body appeared in front of everyone like a newborn baby. Then, Rui Butong slowly stood up with a perplexed look on his face. He moved his body, and walked down while swaying. He walked a few steps before he realized that he had made it. He couldn't help but jump up and laugh. "I did it. I did it. Ha ha ha." Chu Yang, Stealing God, and Thieving Ghost had black lines on their faces. Tan Tan stared at Rui Butong. Then, he used his hand to touch his crotch. He said in a very unconvinced manner, "Almost there." Rui Butong had already jumped up. He dashed over, and pounced over. He excitedly hugged Chu Yang. He laughed and jumped up. "Big brother, I did it." Chu Yang was stunned. He was caught off guard by the strong impact. He fell to the ground while facing the sky. Rui Butong's white body pressed down on Chu Yang's body. The other 3 people were dumbstruck as they looked at the 2 white balls twisting and turning. Stealing God and Thieving Ghost were a little jealous at first. "Little brat, we have raised you for so many years. Now that you have succeeded, you are actually hugging your big brother. Don't tell me that we can't compare to your big brother." But when they saw this disgusting shape, their jealousy completely disappeared. They looked at each other, and rejoiced in their hearts. "Fortunately, he didn't come to hug me first. Otherwise, this motherfucker. How can I endure this?" Chu Yang suddenly became angry. He fiercely slapped. However, he slapped a smooth egg with a bang sound. He shouted, "Get up." Rui Butong suddenly felt that something was wrong. He touched his body, and jumped up with a wow sound. My clothes, my clothes." He looked left and right. On one side, Tan Tan stroked his chin, and laughed mischievously. "So sexy." Stealing God rushed over, and covered Rui Butong with a robe. This prevented his disciple from being embarrassed. Then, the 2 old men rushed over, and violently beat up their disciple. "Little bastard. You scared this old man to death." Chu Yang stood up like a carp, and joined the ranks of the gang beating. Tan Tan also rushed over with a woo sound. Rui Butong was unexpectedly a king-level expert after this breakthrough. Among the brothers, this youngest one was the highest in terms of cultivation. Moreover, his physique had changed greatly. Even if his body was cut by a saber, he would be able to recover quickly. He was also the only one who didn't need Chu Yang's heavy pills to recover from injuries. This result greatly stimulated Jiu Duxing, Dongwu Shong, Luo Ku Di, and Ji Mo. In the next 2 months, the brothers would sometimes gather together, and then they would go their separate ways. At first, they still wore masks. Later, they realized that it was meaningless to wear masks. Everyone knew who they were. What's the point of being secretive? So, they might as well make it clear. Come on. It's the old man's doing, so what? Chapter 550. She had offended many people. Yes, she had offended many people. Come and look for me. Come and look for me. I'll use you as a touchstone. Therefore, the northern wilderness became chaotic. More and more clans returned home. Who the fuck could stand encountering such a group of lunatics? 2 flowers bloomed, 1 on each side. Fuck, why does this sentence sound so sour? Bu Liu Qing and Ning Tianye had accepted a disciple. Both of them were so happy that they couldn't close their mouths. She was the most talented disciple in the world since ancient times. The 2 supreme experts could see the glory of their disciple's future. The names of these two supreme experts should be thrown out to cushion the table if they couldn't teach such a disciple well. The more they looked at this disciple, the more they liked her. They were afraid that she would melt in their mouths and fall in their arms. Mo Qingwu proposed to go home to take a look and say goodbye. The two supreme experts naturally agreed, and accompanied her personally. Moreover, both of them accompanied her. Neither of them gave way to the other. Neither of them was willing to take a step away. The journey was almost half cloudy and half foggy. Other people would need to walk for 2 months. But these two supreme experts only needed 2 days to reach the Mo clan. 2 days was already a very long time. The two supreme experts were 10,000 years old. So, it wasn't easy for them to trick the little girl. They managed to dig out the miserable experience of the little girl in half a day's time. They heard that the little girl used to be the focus of the clan's training. She had 3 yin meridians. But her 3 yin meridians were destroyed. So, the clan immediately gave up on her. She was miserable all the way there. Later, they even wanted to give their precious disciple to someone else as a concubine to practice evil techniques. The little girl had no choice but to run away from home. She was miserable all the way there. It would have been unimaginable if it weren't for Brother Chu Yang. The little girl sobbed when she talked about the sad part. Her tears fell like rain like pear blossoms. Bu Liuqing and Ning Tianye were so angry that their hair stood on end. They were extremely angry. They hadn't expected that they would talk about such a shocking thing while chatting with their disciple. This was the most infuriating thing that these two supreme experts had ever heard. Because this was their own disciple. As for other people, it was none of their business how miserable they were. They could die. Damned Mo clan. They dared to bully my precious disciple like this. The eyes of the two supreme experts turned red. Bu Liuqing immediately expressed that he wanted to exterminate the Mo clan. It was only then that Mo Qingwu got a shock. Ah, why did I say so much? This is bad. The two supreme martial artists were still unwilling to give up. One was blowing his beard and glaring at the other, while the other was cursing at the heavens and cursing the earth. One was rubbing his fists, and the other was busy rolling up his sleeves, as if he was going to have a hand-to-hand fight. They were trying their best to make a good impression in front of their disciples. Mo Qingwu didn't even think about it. No matter what, the two supreme martial artists were still top-notch experts in the world. They had their own demeanor. Even if they were really angry and wanted to destroy the Mo clan, why would they make it so obvious and act like a scoundrel in the marketplace? Moreover, she was only 10 years old and didn't have much experience. The two supreme martial artists only needed to use a few words to evoke all the grievances in her heart, and make her tear up. Moreover, there were 2 extremely benevolent masters who were comforting her while adding fuel to the fire. How could she still know what to say and what not to say? Naturally, it was like pouring beans out of a bamboo tube, spilling everything in one go. Therefore, while the 2 supreme martial artists were angry, they were also enjoying their disciples' soft pleading and coquettishness. Both of them felt an unprecedented joy in their lives. Mo Tianji was also in a very tragic situation. During this period of time, he used all his strength to reorganize the Mo clan. He got rid of all the original drawbacks, and expelled all the unstable elements. He used an iron fist to vigorously reorganize the clan. At the same time, he established good relations with various clans, opened up economic channels, and completely digested and absorbed all the channels that Mo Tianyun had used when he was here. Those that couldn't be digested were simply eliminated. Once these thunderous methods were used, the atmosphere of the Mo clan took on a new look. On this day, the Mo clan had just recovered some of its vitality. However, after a gust of wind, 2 super experts came to settle the score. On this day, there was a thunderclap in the clear sky. People of the Mo clan, come out. With a boom, a few rooms in the Mo clan collapsed because of this sentence. Mo Tianji was very surprised. He endured the buzzing sound in his ears, and walked out to take a look. He saw 3 people standing in mid-air. 2 of them were wearing wide robes with big sleeves. They floated like immortals, but their faces were full of anger. There was a small person in the middle. She was dressed in red, and her face was snow white. She was his younger sister, Mo Qingwu. He couldn't help but be stunned. What's going on? Mo Tianji looked at his younger sister, and couldn't help but ask, Little Wu, this is, second brother, these are my two masters. Mo Qingwu winked at him. Mo Tianji immediately understood. It seems that Little Wu's masters have come to vent their anger for their disciple. He couldn't help but smile bitterly. I would have left a few people behind to let them vent their anger. But now, it seems that only one is left, and that is my father. But, who are these two people? They look very awesome, but, how could Ning Tianye pay any attention to Mo Tianji's polite greetings? He had already shouted at the top of his lungs, who is that bastard Mo Wuxin? Who is that B*TCH Mo Tianyun? Who is it? Get out here. Is there something wrong with your guts? Is there something wrong with your heart? You dare to bully my disciple. If I don't make you look like 300 dead people today, then I won't come. Bu Liu Qing held back his laughter, and turned his face away. This old man is really unscrupulous in order to flatter his disciple and make her happy. He doesn't even care about his face. He is a supreme level expert, and is shouting at an emperor level expert. Black lines appeared on Mo Tianji's forehead. Senior, these people are already dead. Bu Liu Qing was furious. Who allowed them to die? I haven't come to vent my anger for my disciple. How did they die? These bastards don't know any better. They don't make sense. Mo Tianji was left speechless. Do they need your permission to die? Mo Tianji mediated, and Mo Qingwu pleaded. So, the two supreme level experts finally came to the Mo clan's courtyard. They drank tea and cursed at the same time. The two supreme level experts were depressed because they didn't manage to vent their anger. Then, he called out Mo Xingchen, and fiercely reprimanded him. Then, he poked Mo Xingchen's forehead with his finger, causing Mo Xingchen to stagger. His saliva directly sprayed onto the face of the former clan head of the Mo clan. Mo Xingchen was battered and exhausted. However, he didn't even feel afraid after he knew the identities of these two. He was scolded and lectured. Then, he went back in a daze with a wave of their hands. Oh my God! Little Wu has two supreme level experts as her masters. I have a heart attack. Where's my disciple's saber? Take it out. Look at your clan's prospects. You even snatched a little girl's saber. Moreover, she is your own daughter. Do you have any face? Even if you have some prospects, you must have stolen them. Hurry up. Why are you standing there like a dumb bird? Do you really want me to get angry? This is really infuriating. Ning Tianye's thunderous roar was heard. Mo Tianji personally went to his room, and took out the saber that he had kept for his little sister. Throughout the entire process, even with Mo Tianji's eloquence, he didn't even have the time to defend himself. That's because the two supreme level experts only cared about themselves. They didn't give anyone a chance to speak. While Ning Tianye was scolding, Bu Liu Qing was complaining, you simply don't treat us as guests. What kind of tea is this? It tastes terrible. If you weren't lucky, my disciple would have been a member of your clan. Otherwise, I would have exterminated your clan for this pot of tea. Too stingy, too shameful, too unpresentable. Is this something that humans can drink? Mo Tianji almost spat out a mouthful of blood. This is our unique heavenly secret tea. If tea is ranked in the three heavens, then heavenly secret tea would be ranked second. No other tea would dare to claim to be first. It has been degraded to such an extent. Bu Liu Qing and Ning Tianye saw that Mo Qingwu cared so much about that saber. But, they didn't think much of it. They thought, what kind of divine weapon can there be here? At most, it's gorgeous in appearance. Little girls like it. That's all. However, they immediately overturned their previous thoughts when they saw the dreaming of a gentle dance saber. Even with their 10,000 years of experience, they could only describe this saber with the word perfect after thinking for a long time. The dreamlike colors, the blurriness of the starry sky, the super sharpness that could cut iron into mud made the two supreme experts exclaim in admiration. No wonder that damned bastard snatched it. It's a good thing. Fortunately, it's in my disciple's hands. Well, it's really complimentary. Mo Qing-Wu was beaming with joy as she held the saber in her hands. The two supreme experts felt comforted in their old hearts. The two supreme experts didn't stay for long. Mo Qing-Wu bid farewell to her mother and second brother. Then, they took the dreaming of a gentle dance saber from Mo Tianji's hands and left with Mo Qing-Wu. Mo Xingchen imagined that the two supreme experts would bestow a lot of good things and secret manuals, but it didn't happen. This should have happened. However, the Mo clan had treated Mo Qing-Wu unfairly some time ago. So, it had turned into nothing. An elder boldly mentioned it in a roundabout way. But, Ning Tianye raised his eyes and scolded him. You should be happy that we didn't exterminate your clan this time. But, you still want benefits. Not even a mosquito. How can you be so thick-skinned? This is the first time this old man has seen your Mo clan in more than 10,000 years. How fucking thick-skinned is this? You're simply disgraceful. Extremely shameless. Your Mo clan would be invincible in the upper three heavens if you were to stick up your face. You can ignore all attacks with just this face of yours. This is really fucking bad luck. I actually talked so much with trash like you. The two supreme experts picked up their disciple and disappeared without a trace after they finished scolding her. All the members of the Mo clan's elder assembly spurted out a mouthful of blood. The auras of the two supreme experts had been suppressing them. They couldn't resist without circulating their martial power. So, they spat out this mouthful of blood after the two supreme experts had left. Everyone looked dispirited. They were full of regret. They were ashamed and resentful at the same time. This matter wasn't done by us. They obviously didn't dare to bear a grudge against Ning Tianye. So, they could only vent their anger on Mo Wuxin and Mo Tianyun. Those two bastards would have been eaten alive by everyone if they were still alive. Our Mo clan lost such a good opportunity because of you two bastards. First update for today. The monthly votes are getting closer and closer. Please help, brothers and sisters. Thank you. I will continue to work hard. Second, third, fourth. Chapter 551. She had already left. Only a group of Mo clan's people were left behind. They looked at each other in dismay, and sighed in unison. Motherfucker, who would have dared to offend young miss if we had known that she had such an awesome backer? Even Mo Wuxin and Mo Tianyun would have treated her like a great-grandmother. Mo Tianji's state of mind was very calm in comparison to the regret and disappointment of the other people of Mo clan. Can you keep the good stuff even if I give you good stuff? Mo Tianji snorted. How can a clan survive and become powerful if it relies on someone else? You can only rely on yourself. Mo Tianji heavily said, you can only rely on yourself. Don't tell me that you can't rely on yourself. The Mo clan should have been dissolved if you only wanted to rely on the supreme expert. Mo Tianji flicked his sleeves and left after he finished speaking. He then returned to the main study room. Only a group of elders who were lost in thought were left behind. Mo Tianji received a piece of news the next day. The Oyu clan is secretly doing something. They have been in close contact with the other big clans. Mo Tianji smelled the scent of a conspiracy. He was well known for his scheming. So, his first reaction when he saw this news was, is the Oyu clan going to make a move? But, who is the Oyu clan targeting if they're going to make a move? Mo Tianji pondered for a while. Then, he resolutely issued an order. Investigate. Find out what happened to the Oyu clan during this time. Which clans are they in contact with? How are they in contact with them? The more detailed the better. The Mo clan's intelligence network was operating at full capacity. Several pieces of paper were placed on Mo Tianji's desk in a day's time. Plotting against King of Hell Chu. 30 experts have yet to return. Mo Tianji hissed and sucked in a breath of cold air after he read the first piece of information. Then, he looked at each piece of paper. The more he looked, the more shocked he became. Then, he closed his eyes and pondered. He gently tapped his thigh with his finger. Gao clan? Black Devil clan? Tian clan? Tu clan? Meng clan? Zhao clan? Li clan? It seems that the Oyu clan wants to stir up some trouble this time. Or, create chaos and then protect yourself. Mo Tianji stood up and paced back and forth in the room. His brows were tightly knitted, but there is a possibility that our strength will be weakened if we get into a mess. Especially since the Black Devil clan and the Meng clan are involved in this matter. My Mo clan can't stay out of this even if we want to. So, it would be better to take the initiative to attack rather than passively defend. Even if it's a chaotic situation, we have to make it chaotic first. Mo Tianji carefully calculated the strength of both sides. He continued to ponder and evolve in his heart. He had already calculated everything in an instant. Come. After a quarter of an hour, Mo Tianji's eyes flashed as he made a decision. 2 guards immediately appeared. What orders does the Patriarch have? I will write a few letters, and you will immediately send them out. Mo Tianji ground the ink and casually said, send them to the Luo clan, the Ji clan, the Dawn clan. 7 days from now, I'll be at the Mo clan's residence. This matter is of great importance. Mo Tianji waved his hand and looked at the few people who immediately went out. Then, the sound of horse hooves echoed and gradually disappeared into the distance. Mo Tianji returned to his room with his brows still furrowed. After a long while, he finally picked up his brush and wrote a letter. He personally folded and sealed it. Then, he called someone over and instructed, send this letter to the Ao clan as quickly as possible. If Evil Cloud Duke isn't present, send it to the clan lord of the Ao clan. Yes. Mo Tianji muttered to himself for a while after this person left. But he still felt that it wasn't very stable. So, he picked up his brush and carefully wrote another letter. This letter is for the Dark Bamboo. Even if there is a conflict in the future, this is a foreshadowing in advance. Then, Mo Tianji gathered all the experts of the Mo clan and made arrangements one by one. After the arrangements of the experts had been made, Mo Tianji called over the person in charge of the clan's economic and financial resources. All the forces of the Mo clan gathered together and clenched their fists. From today onwards, all the revenue from the sales of every shop and every hall of the Mo clan would be returned to the headquarters. There was no delay. Everything was arranged in an extremely short amount of time. The Ou clan wants to stir up the wind and rain. How can it be so easy? I'll show you what it means to stir up the wind and rain. Mo Tianji stood in front of the court with his hands clasped behind his back. There was a faint smile on his face. You want to play tricks in front of me? Then, I'll show you how to play tricks. 7 days later, Luo Kuwu, Dongwu Lei, Jizhu, Xiedan Qiong, and a steward of the Jiyu clan arrived at the Mo clan on time. Moreover, each of them had arrived very quickly. Mo Tianji's letter had been very serious. Xiedan Qiong had paid a lot of money to hire flying spirit beasts to arrive. Brother Mo, what's the matter? Dongwu Lei asked. I saw in your letter that our clan has been exterminated. Is it so serious? Dongwu Lei complained a little. His distance could be considered as far away. However, he had arrived early. This guy had jumped in fright when he had seen Mo Tianji's letter. He had immediately abandoned everything and rushed here. 2 fine horses had died along the way. Even his thighs had been rubbed with bloody blisters. You're right. I was still sleeping when I received your letter. Jizhu rolled his eyes. He looked at Mo Tianji with some displeasure. You scared me so much that I broke my sweet dream and rushed here. Cousin, you've gone too far. Jizhu was older than Mo Tianji. Therefore, he called him cousin. However, he didn't dare to look down on this younger cousin. On the contrary, he admired him. Luo Kuwu was somewhat embarrassed. After all, their Luo clan and the Mo clan had a grudge against each other. They had suffered too many losses because of Mo Tianji. So, they didn't dare to neglect this time. That was because he knew that this matter wasn't trivial. If even Mo Tianji had spoken so seriously, how would I dare to deceive the great dukes? Mo Tianji joked first. Then, his expression immediately turned serious. He said sternly, if we don't handle this matter well, I'm afraid that our clans will be annihilated right before our eyes. I'm not exaggerating just to scare you. Ah, it's that serious. The great dukes turned pale with fright. They immediately became serious. Mo Tianji's words had attracted everyone's attention. Then, he heaved a long sigh and said, Speaking of which, our Mo clan is the one who has been wrongly accused in this matter. This matter was provoked by your younger brothers. But, our Mo clan was also implicated in this matter. We have no choice. The meaning behind Mo Tianji's words was, this is your matter. You've implicated our Mo clan. But, I still have to clean it up for you. You should be grateful. Dongwu Lei stood up. Wu Shong? What happened to him? Dongwu Lei had always felt that Dongwu Shong was the strongest candidate for the position of the clan lord. Dongwu Shong had appeared in such a powerful manner in the past year. He had swept through the entire three heavens with an unstoppable momentum, and had defeated all the younger generation. Dongwu Lei had felt that his younger brother was a big threat to him countless times. Dongwu Lei had even targeted Dongwu Shong in some of the clan's affairs. He had constantly reduced his influence. He had played many little tricks in the dark. But, he felt his heart tighten when he heard that something had happened to Dongwu Shong. He couldn't help but feel concerned. It seemed as if his heart was being squeezed. He realized that he had lost his composure when he spoke. So, he sat down embarrassedly. He secretly sighed in his heart, it's a threat. But, this kinship is still very touching. It's hard to give up. I can't let it go, they're fine. But, they've provoked a big trouble. Mo Tianji looked at Dongwu Lei with a smile. Then, he said, everyone, please come with me. As he spoke, he led the group into his study. Then, he ordered that no one was allowed to come in and disturb him even if the sky collapsed. The hearts of the great dukes sank when they saw that Mo Tianji was so cautious. It seems that this matter isn't small. As soon as they entered the study, they realized that there was a huge map hanging on the wall in front of them. There weren't many directions marked on this map. But, there were many blood-red arrows. Dongwu Shong, Jiyu Duxing, Luo Kudi, Jimo, and Chu Yang. These 5 people had a conflict with the Oyu clan on their way to the northern wilderness. They killed 5 emperor-level experts of the Oyu clan and 30 king-level expert. Mo Tianji's tone was indifferent. He didn't mention that his younger sister was also there. Killed 5 emperor-level experts. And 30 king-level experts. Dongwu Lei and Luo Ku Wu sucked in a mouthful of cold air. Jiju had been lying on the chair like mud. But, he suddenly stood up straight at this moment. The eyes of the steward king-level expert of the Jiyu clan had turned into bells. They were full of disbelief. Xiedan Qiong's eyes opened wide. Then, soybean-sized beads of sweat oozed out of his forehead. He had obviously heard about this matter. But, he had only heard that many king-level experts of the Oyu clan had died. He hadn't known that 5 emperor-level experts had died. Xiedan Qiong rejoiced in his heart at this moment. He obviously understood the reason the best. It was because Oyu Du Xiao had discussed with him that he would go to the Xie clan first before going to the Oyu clan. This matter had spread out after Oyu Du Xiao had left the Xie clan. Xiedan Qiong thought with his knees, presumably, the Oyu clan wanted to take advantage of the situation. And, that's why they provoked the retaliation of Chu Yang and the others. Fortunately, my clan wasn't so muddle-headed. They didn't forget righteousness at the sight of profit. Instead, they sincerely befriended them. Perhaps, the Xie clan would have collapsed if they had also suffered such a loss. The Oyu clan has suffered a major blow. And, their strength has been greatly damaged. At the same time, they have made a big enemy of Jiyu Duxing and the others. Mo Tianji picked up a writing brush, and drew a line on the map where the Oyu clan was located. Then, he insipidly said, therefore, the Oyu clan must have been afraid of the retaliation of Jiyu Duxing, Dongwu Shong, and the others. Moreover, they were even more afraid that the Jiyu clan, Dong clan, Luo clan, and the other clans would join hands to deal with them. Therefore, the Oyu clan had started to form a big alliance in order to protect themselves. They wanted to disrupt the situation. At the same time, they also wanted to seize this opportunity to strengthen themselves. Mo Tianji's words gradually entered the main topic. Everyone present straightened their bodies, opened their eyes wide, and pricked up their ears. The Oyu clan had contacted several clans in succession during this time. Mo Tianji used a small smooth stick to point on the first arrow, First was the Gao clan. As for the reason, Jizhu, you should be clear about it. Sweat oozed out of the tip of Jizhu's nose. How could he not be clear about it? His younger brother Ji Mo had snatched the fiancée of the young clan lord of the Gao clan. It would be too much if he said that he didn't know about it. Chapter 552. The thin wooden stick touched the second red arrow. Then, Mo Tianji calmly said, the second clan we contacted was the Li clan. Elder Xie, I think you know why the Ou clan contacted this clan. Xie Dan Qiong awkwardly coughed. His face was somewhat red as he said, you already know. What else can I say? Everyone looked at him curiously. I don't know what this jade flower is worried about. Mo Tianji gently said, Brother Xie, it would be better for you to explain yourself so that we can understand the current situation better. And, we can understand how threatening and hostile these clans are. Xie Dan Qiong's face turned red. He faintly recalled the past, and angrily said, I had a grudge with the Li clan when I was 17 years old. I had reached the marriageable age. Once, I accidentally went out, and met the eldest daughter of the Li clan, Li Meng. This Li Meng's name is pleasant to hear. However, her appearance was somewhat unsightly. Well, she wasn't too ugly. I heard that she was injured. After Li Meng saw me, she unexpectedly took a fancy to me. Xie Dan Qiong's elegant and feminine face became angry. After I returned, the Li clan came to propose marriage. But, how could I agree to such a marriage? Even if I, Xie Dan Qiong, am not good-looking, the future wife of the Xie clan's clanlord can't be a one-eyed person, right? Ha ha ha. Jizhu, Dongwu Lei, and Luo Ku swayed back and forth. Even Mo Tianji, who had always been calm and collected, was smiling. Jizhu laughed and said, Brother Xie, perhaps she is a one-eyed person. But, perhaps she has an inner charm. The laughter became even louder as these words came out. Xie Dan Qiong's face turned red. He spared no effort in cursing, fuck. That's all you know, Jizhu. The so-called inner seduction was, cough cough cough. Xie Dan Qiong cursed. Then, he continued, so, I flatly refused. But, this Li Meng and her younger brother, Li Hu, took advantage of the fact that I was away. And, they wanted to snatch the marriage. Ha 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 ha. Jizhu's hands and feet spasmed as he laughed. Brother Xie's charm is boundless. Don't tell me that Li Hu, did you, do that? The laughter almost overturned Mo Tianji's study room as these words came out. Xie Dan Qiong's complexion turned pale. He angrily said, Jizhu, you bastard. Go on, go on. Go on, ignore him. Ha ha. Luo Ku laughed so hard that he spat out a mouthful of tea all over the place. He then urged Xie Dan Qiong to hurry up. Xie Dan Qiong looked at Jizhu with hatred in his eyes. Then, he continued, as a result, I killed both of them by accident and on purpose. Therefore, we became enemies. It can be said that the Li clan and my Xie clan are absolutely irreconcilable. At this point, everyone stopped laughing. Clearly, they were all considering the seriousness of this matter. Indeed, if an ordinary person had died, there probably wouldn't be any deep hatred. However, he had killed a son and a daughter of the clan head. This was a deep-seated hatred that could not be resolved. I'm sure everyone understands that as long as the Li family makes a move, it will be a fight to the death. Mo Tianji smiled and concluded, whoever stands with the Xie clan, the Li clan will fight them to the death. If we don't make a move, both sides will be holding back. But once we make a move, there will be no more scruples. Either you die, or I die. The archdukes nodded slowly. The steward of the Jiyu clan was sweating on his forehead. He was busy recording. The third target that the Ou clan contacted was the Tian clan. Brother Dong, you're not unfamiliar with the Tian clan, right? Mo Tianji looked at Dong Wu Lei. Dong Wu Lei's complexion sank. Not unfamiliar? The Dong clan and the Tian clan had several generations of irreconcilable hatred. They would fight to the death whenever they met. In this life, the Dong clan had Dong Wu Shong. But, the Tian clan had also produced a peerless genius, Tian Bu Hui. He was known as heaven is inferior, even the heaven is inferior to him. One could well imagine the strength and arrogance of this person. There was no need to say anything if the Tian clan got involved in this muddy water. They would certainly fight to the death. Dongwu Lei's complexion became extremely unsightly. The fourth target that the Ou clan contacted was the Zhao clan. Mo Tianji smiled as he looked at Luo Kuwu, whose complexion had suddenly become unsightly. Brother Luo, the Luo clan has been suppressing the Zhao clan for more than 200 years if I remember correctly. Luo Kuwu snorted. Mo Tianji smiled in a refined manner. Our Mo clan and the Zhao clan would have become allies if it weren't for the distance between us and the Luo clan. Luo Kuwu's complexion became even more unsightly. The Luo clan and the Mo clan didn't have a harmonious relationship. They had been yelling and shouting every day for dozens of years. But things had improved recently. Of course, the Ou clan also contacted another clan, the Tu clan. Mo Tianji sighed. Jiu Du Xing beat Tu Qian Hao beyond recognition. Moreover, he beat him in front of all the heroes of the world. This hatred isn't inferior to the hatred of killing one's father. The fingers of the steward of the Jiu clan trembled. And a big stain appeared on the writing brush he was using to record. All of you deserve to be punished. Mo Tianji sighed as if he was very depressed, but the most unbearable thing is that our Mo clan didn't do anything. But that damned Ou clan contacted the Black Devil clan. Dongwu Lei, Jizhu, Luo Kuwu, and Xiedan Qiong immediately laughed in Schadenfreude. It's no wonder that you looked for us. It turns out that your Mo clan is also involved in this matter. However, they also felt relieved at the same time. Mo Tianji can't stay out of this matter since the Mo clan is also involved. Mo Tianji's planning is the biggest help. Mo Tianji had pulled these people together in a few words. Moreover, he had made his position prominent and independent. The Mo clan's strength had been greatly damaged. So, they should have been begging others for help. However, they had become the target of others' pleas. Moreover, the Ou clan contacted the Meng clan. Mo Tianji forced a smile. Everyone's eyes shone brightly. Meng Luo's vivid spring dream divine technique was a thorn in everyone's heart. Everyone rubbed their palms for battle when they heard that the Meng clan was also participating in this alliance. We will face an unprecedentedly grim situation if the Ou clan's alliance is successful. Mo Tianji had done enough foreplay to raise the hearts of all the great dukes. Then, he threw out his main objective: if the Ou clan, the Tu clan, the Tian clan, the Meng clan, the Black Devil clan, the Zhao clan, the Li clan, all these clans join forces to deal with us alone. Mo Tianji looked deeply into Xiedan Qiong's eyes. Even the powerful Xie clan will be defeated in one blow. There won't be the slightest bit of luck. Xiedan Qiong's complexion suddenly became deathly pale. That's because the Xie clan was the closest to the Ou clan. Our clans will be eliminated from the three heavens if we give them the opportunity to attack us one by one. Mo Tianji's voice was cold and deep. His eyes looked at Dongwu Lei, Luo Kuwu, and Jizhu's faces. Everyone's complexion became heavy. Their eyes flickered, and a murderous intention condensed little by little. The atmosphere in the study room had suddenly become oppressive and heavy. Everyone knew that Mo Tianji's words wouldn't be just a rumor if this matter were to happen. How could a single clan resist the alliance of 7 great clans? Mo Tianji chuckled and said, I'm very unwilling, and I'm very unwilling. But the Black Devil clan has joined that camp. I'm very unwilling, and I'm very unwilling. But I have no choice but to admit that we're on the same boat now. Yes, you have enmity with them. Our Mo clan has no enmity with them, but we've been pulled in. What else do you want? Who wants to stay out of this? Who dares to stay out of this? Dongwu Lei's eyes flickered. He slowly stood up and looked around. Then, he said in a heavy voice, Brother Mo is right. This is indeed a big crisis. I'm afraid that we'll be destroyed if we don't work together. Dongwu Lei's voice was heavy. He extended his big hand with his palm facing upwards, and said, My Dong clan will be the first to recognize the status of our group. Those who recognize my alliance, please put your hand on mine. Xiedan Qiong put his hand on his palm without any hesitation. Then, Luo Ku Wu also put his hand on his palm. The steward of the Jiyu clan hesitated for a moment, and said, "I'm willing to represent the Jiyu clan to recognize the alliance. However, I need to go back and report the specific deployment plan of this matter to the clan lord." He also put his hand on his palm as he said this. Jiju remained silent for a while. Then, he meaningfully looked at Mo Tianji. Then, he put his hand on his palm with a bang sound. Mo Tianji smiled. He stretched out his hands, and gently held those hands that were clasped together. Then, he said, "Everyone can discuss the next step of the plan if that's the case." Mo Tianji's words had maximized the crisis of life and death. And, he had finally moved the hearts of these aristocratic clans. He had firmly tied these scattered clans together. Moreover, it was the most solid kind. Everyone laughed out loud. Then, they sat down one after another. The unfamiliarity and restraint between them had disappeared without a trace. "I think I should have the right to speak about the next step of the plan and arrangement." Luo Ku Wu forced a smile and said, "I've had a lot of dealings with Lord Mo Tianji in the past few years. To be honest, I'm very ashamed. I, Luo Ku Wu, have never been able to gain the upper hand no matter how much I've thought about it. I've almost been killed several times in Lord Mo's hands. I've almost been captured several times." Luo Ku Wu laughed at himself. Then, he pointed at his own body. "I won't hide it from everyone. Out of 10 scars on my body, 9 of them were inflicted by Mo Tianji." Everyone laughed out loud. Luo Ku Wu said, "Brother Mo's reputation as the master of calculation and manipulation is well known throughout the world. I think that Lord Tianji will be the one in charge if we want to form an alliance." "That's right. My cousin is full of wicked ideas. I haven't been able to bask in his glory since I was a child." Jiju mischievously smiled. Jiju's mother was the wife of the clan lord of the Ji clan. Mo Tianji's aunt was bitterly in love with the clan lord of the Ji clan. She would rather marry him as a concubine. That was how she gave birth to Ji Mo. Jiju shouldn't have called Mo Tianji cousin. However, he and Ji Mo were more like blood brothers. Therefore, Jiju had followed his younger brother to recognize this cousin. Xiedan Qiong and Dong Wu Lei looked at each other. They didn't have any objection. Mo Tianji smiled and said, "This proposal is inappropriate." Chapter 553. Everyone was startled. "Why is it inappropriate? Is there anyone here who is better at scheming than you? I can only be your military advisor. Strategizing can determine victory in Jianghu. I can analyze the enemy's schemes and calmly execute them. This is what I can do. It is my duty to do so." Mo Tianji smiled and said, "As for the decision-maker and battle leader, it is not my turn. It is someone else." He paused and said, "Every one of us is more than qualified to be a leader. Moreover, we all have the ability to control the overall situation. However, we are not as good as one person. Therefore, before that person arrives, I can only come up with ideas for everyone. Then, we can harass them and tire them out. This is fine." "That person? Who?" everyone asked together. "This is strange. There is someone in this world that even Mo Tianji feels inferior to. What kind of immortal is that? That person once turned the entire lower 3 heavens upside down with his own strength and cultivation as a martial master. He once led Iron Cloud Nation, which was on the verge of destruction. However, he defeated Diwu Qingru, who was unparalleled in intelligence and military strength. This person came to lower 3 heavens and stirred up the storm. He almost single-handedly changed the situation of lower 3 heavens. King of Hell Chu." Mo Tianji had not finished speaking, but everyone had already called out this name. "It is that person." Mo Tianji sighed slightly. "King of Hell Chu's intelligence is not enough to make me admire him. However, his calmness is beyond my reach." He sighed softly and said, "We can command a large army. But, it's not difficult for King of Hell Chu to do this. We have to remain calm in the face of danger, and look for a way out from a hopeless situation. Our train of thought is clear, but we can't do it." "Calm?" Luo Ku Wu could not help but laugh. "Brother Mo, when did King of Hell Chu show his calmness?" How come I have never heard of it? Mo Tianji smiled. If you were in King of Hell Chu's time in Iron Cloud, would you be able to do what he did? No. Luo Ku Wu honestly admitted that Iron Cloud's reversal was indeed a miracle, turning defeat into victory bit by bit under an absolute disadvantage. If you don't keep your cool, can you do it? Mo Tianji asked in a carefree manner. Then, he chuckled. Mo Tianji, ask myself honestly. I wouldn't be able to do this if I were in King of Hell Chu's shoes. As expected. King of Hell Chu's calmness is indeed extraordinary. Xiedan Qiong recalled Chu Yang's performance in the Xie clan. He couldn't help but blush with shame. He thought in his heart, motherfucker, he single-handedly challenged my entire clan, and didn't get drunk. I'm afraid no one in this world is worthy of the word calm if I don't remain calm. All right. Dong Wu Lei nodded straightforwardly. Luo Ku Wu also nodded. They had seen Chu Yang. Moreover, their brothers had followed Chu Yang. Even she had never been able to convince her younger brother that much. Also, we're still missing a few adventurers. Jiyu Du Xing and Dong Wu Shong are well deserved. Mo Tianji smiled confidently and said, both sides will suffer at best if we fight recklessly with our current strength. Even if we win, it will be a Pyrrhic victory. And, we'll lose the qualifications to contend for hegemony in the three heavens. But, the situation will be very different once Jiyu Du Xing, Dong Wu Shong, and the others return. Relying on the five of them? Dong Wu Lei snorted disdainfully. King of Hell Chu was obviously a character. But, Mo Tianji had put them on such a high pedestal. It seemed a bit excessive. Yes, relying on the five of them. Mo Tianji faintly smiled. He slightly squinted his eyes and said, Brother Dong, the five of them were able to kill 5 Emperor-level experts. And, they also killed 30 King-level experts at the same time. Would the 5 of us be able to do it if we were in their place? Who knows what kind of crafty scheme they used? Dong Wu Lei muttered. Yes. They must have used a crafty scheme, but... Mo Tianji heavily said, I can't think of such a crafty scheme. Such a crafty scheme is a kind of strength in the upper three heavens. Even an Emperor-level expert has died. So, you and I will certainly die if we meet them. Scheming and wisdom are the most brilliant martial strength. Mo Tianji insipidly said. Everyone pondered in silence. Xiedan Qiong roused his spirit. He carefully sorted out the situation of both sides in his mind. He felt that something was wrong. So, he said, Brother Mo, this matter doesn't seem to be as simple as it seems on the surface. The Oyu clan has joined forces with so many people. So, they shouldn't be targeting us, right? Brother Xie is very wise. Mo Tianji faintly smiled. He paced 2 steps. Then, he slowly pondered and said, Oyu Du Xiao owed a huge gambling debt after the battle at Mount Dingjun. I calculated from that time. Everyone looked at Xiedan Qiong with a strange look in their eyes. Xiedan Qiong's face turned red. Oyu Du Xiao wasn't the only one who owed a huge gambling debt. The first thing I would think of if I were the Oyu clan's clan lord was to pay off my gambling debt after I heard about this god of wealth. Then, I would think of killing him to seize his wealth. Mo Tianji put himself in the position of the Oyu clan's clan lord as he slowly spoke. Everyone listened attentively. But, I suddenly realized that King of Hell Chu's financial resources had reached a sensational level after his trip to the Xie clan. Therefore, I couldn't help but feel excited. How much of a boost would it be for the Oyu clan if we could kill King of Hell Chu in secret? Moreover, King of Hell Chu is only a king-level expert. I heard that he doesn't have an emperor-level expert in his team. But, my Oyu clan has more than one emperor-level expert. Wouldn't we be able to make a fortune in secret if we could do it in secret? Mo Tianji continued to analyze. Moreover, he could enter the Xie clan without any precautions. So, why can't he enter the Oyu clan without any precautions? Wouldn't I have the final say as long as he enters the Oyu clan? Xiedan Qiong and the others secretly nodded. Mo Tianji's analysis of Oyu Cheng Wu's mentality was absolutely correct. Things should have started to deviate from that time. Therefore, I began to arrange the deployment after I arrived. But I found that the other side was on guard. So, I wanted to catch them all in one fell swoop. Therefore, I wanted to eliminate them in one fell swoop. So, I needed information and experts to follow them. Therefore, I have to send someone who is very confident in following them. Many people would have gone. And they wouldn't have met if they were discovered. They would have gone their separate ways. And my OU clan wouldn't have gotten anything. Therefore, I had to send at least one Emperor-level expert, and at most 2 Emperor-level experts to follow them. Mo Tianji spoke until here. He then smiled and continued, killing 5 Emperor-level experts at once with the cultivation of a King-level expert wouldn't be possible even if they used crafty tricks. Therefore, they needed to be dealt with separately. And this tracking Emperor-level expert should have been the first to be killed by Chu Yang and the others. Or, the first 2. There couldn't have been more than 3. After all, it wouldn't have been called tracking if there were more than 3. Chu Yang would have prostrated himself in admiration if he had been here. Mo Tianji's calculations had been correct so far, whether it was the mentality or the process. Then, I received the news. So, a large group of people immediately set out. They must have used a thunderous method to eliminate all future troubles in one fell swoop. However, I realized that I had provoked a big trouble when I found out that the experts I had sent had been wiped out. OU clan had lost so many experts. Moreover, they were facing the retaliation of these big clans. So, they were in a precarious situation. We had to unite with other forces if we wanted to protect ourselves under such circumstances. Therefore, I targeted the opponents of the Jiyu clan, the Luo clan, the Dong clan, and the Ji clan. Moreover, King of Hell Chu had just formed an alliance with the Xie clan. So, the Xie clan was also an enemy. So, I contacted the Li clan. Moreover, the people of the Black Devil clan had always been mercenary. So, they could be used. The Meng clan was powerless to protect itself. So, the Meng clan would have been eager to accept if I had thrown out an olive branch. And I would have achieved my goal of protecting the clan as long as these clans accepted my offer and reached a consensus. Mo Tianji paused as he spoke till here. Xie Dan Qiong, Dong Wushong, and Luo Ku Wu discussed in a low voice. Ji Zhu also changed his lazy posture. His eyes emitted a sharp divine light as he listened with rapt attention. But my mentality suddenly changed when I reached this point. Mo Tianji's voice suddenly became heavy. I suddenly realized that my strength would have skyrocketed after I'd united with these clans. Moreover, the OU clan is so weak right now that it would have been in danger of being annexed even if it was in the alliance. Therefore, I would have stirred up a dispute and launched an attack on the Jiyu clan, the Xie clan, the Dong clan, and the other clans. That's because this force has reached the condition of dominating the 3 heavens. Our OU clan would have taken advantage of the situation if any of these clans got exterminated. And we would have been able to restore our strength. Moreover, we would have become even stronger. This is a heaven-sent opportunity. Mo Tianji paused as he spoke till here. He pondered for a while and said, this should be the true mentality of the OU clan's clan lord. He frowned and resolutely said, it shouldn't be wrong. It must be said that Mo Tianji's words had drilled into OU Cheng Wu's stomach. In fact, he had clearly seen through OU Cheng Wu's internal organs. Xie Dan Qiong and Dong Wu Lei frowned and pondered deeply. Ji Zhu habitually crossed his legs and scratched his feet. Then, he lazily said, this shouldn't be false. First, he was greedy. Then, he regretted it. Then, he became afraid. Then, he joined forces to increase his strength. Then, he became ambitious. This is very normal. What Tianji said shouldn't be wrong. Everyone nodded in succession. They felt that this was very reasonable. They were about to praise him when they smelled an indescribable stench. Even a weasel would have come after smelling this stench. They turned their heads to look, and immediately became angry. Ji Zhu had taken off his shoes and was scratching his feet. He even put his feet to his nose and smelled it. These people were clean people. So, they almost vomited. Fuck. You bastard. Quickly put on your shoes. Get out. There was a loud roar. Then, someone kicked Jiju out with a loud bang. He came in after a long while with his head and face covered in dirt. Mo Tianji stopped laughing and said, "However, this alone isn't enough to cause chaos in the world. Therefore, the Lian clan and the others must have still got some tricks up their sleeves. The next trick is the real fatal one." "What trick?" everyone asked. They had already prostrated themselves in admiration of Mo Tianji. Chapter 554. The Ou clan wants to take advantage of this opportunity to rise. Their first concern is the Ao clan. Everyone knows that the Ao clan is the #1 clan in the three heavens. Mo Tianji insipidly said, "The Ao clan is a colossus. No one would dare to say that they would rise and replace the Ao clan if they don't make a move. Therefore, the Ao clan must be part of the Ou clan's plan." Mo Tianji's eyes flickered. He was thinking in his heart, how would I drag the Ao clan into this mess if I were a member of the Ou clan's alliance? Then, there's the dark bamboo. Dongwu Lei raised his eyebrows. The dark bamboo, they can only create coincidences to take advantage of it. The people of the dark bamboo don't care about the rise and fall of the big clans of the three heavens. Moreover, Jun Shizhu has always been unreasonable. So, they won't dare to take advantage of the dark bamboo. Mo Tianji shook his head and said, "These two worlds can't be mentioned in the same breath. The most important thing is the Ao clan." The Ao clan. Everyone looked pensive. The Ao clan is a 1,000-year-old clan. It dominates the first place. The younger generation of the clan is full of outstanding talents. The Ao clan is full of talents in our generation. Only the core of the new generation is Ao Xieyun. But, the other dozens of younger brothers of the Ao clan can't be underestimated either. Mo Tianji pondered for a moment, and then said, "Ao Xieyun is the leader of the Ao clan at present. This is to pave the way for Ao Xieyun to take over the position of the clan lord of the Ao clan. Therefore, the Ou clan's alliance can only start from Ao Xieyun if they want to drag the Ao clan into this mess." Mo Tianji's train of thought became smoother as he spoke, but Ao Xieyun is extremely intelligent. He's not inferior to me in terms of wisdom and schemes. And, he's not inferior to Jiyu Duxing and Dongwu Shong in terms of martial prowess. Therefore, Ao Xieyun certainly wouldn't join their camp if the Ou clan's alliance were to brazenly invite him. Therefore, there's only one way for the Ou clan to drag the Ao clan into this mess. Mo Tianji's voice slowly became heavy. "Assassinate Ao Xieyun?" The other people felt their scalps go numb. Their bodies became cold. "Yes. The Ao clan will fly into a rage if Ao Xieyun dies. Whoever kills Ao Xieyun will incur the bloody revenge of the Ao clan." Mo Tianji pondered and said, "Although this is a risk, it's the most effective way to throw the three heavens into chaos." Everyone became silent. "Brother Xie, you have to be careful. You will be in grave danger if something happens to Ao Xieyun." Mo Tianji turned towards Xie Danqiong and said in a serious manner. "Why me?" Xie Danqiong was stunned. "I don't have any unique weapons. The Dong clan is too obvious. Jiyu clan's Duxing isn't here. The Luo clan doesn't have a unique weapon. As for the Ji clan, Jimo isn't here. Jiju, this fellow. Let's not talk about asking him to kill Ao Xieyun. Even if Ao Xieyun offered his neck to him, this fellow probably wouldn't even bother to kill him." Mo Tianji faintly smiled, "So, they can only frame the Ao clan if they want to drag them down. If they want to frame someone else, they can only choose Xie Danqiong. Qianghua, you. Once Ao Xieyun dies, brother Xie, it will be your doing. Oh, you do Xiao and you have been friends for many years. So, he knows your methods like the back of his hand. So, it would be easy for him to kill Ao Xieyun and shift the blame to you if he were to use the Ou clan's poison technique. And, if the Ao clan were to attack in rage because of this, we would be completely passive. So, it would basically be equivalent to a great defeat." Mo Tianji said indifferently. Xie Danqiong was shocked. Everyone carefully thought about it. They had thought that it was unimaginable at first. But, the more they thought about it, the more they felt that this idea was very likely. In fact, It was the only way out for the OU clan's alliance. So, what should we do now? Xie Danqiong was really anxious. This was a big disaster that could easily destroy a clan. I have already sent a letter to the AO clan. It can be considered as getting acquainted with them first. Mo Tianji's complexion was heavy as he said, I have also sent a letter to the dark bamboo to prepare for a rainy day. The second step is to make use of the Meng clan. The biggest mistake that the OU clan has made in this matter is that they have contacted the Meng clan. Mo Tianji insipidly said, the Meng clan's evil technique has already violated the great taboo of Jianghu. Therefore, we must seize this mistake. We must issue a statement to the entire Jianghu. We must denounce the Meng clan's evil technique. We must exaggerate the dangers of the evil technique to the greatest extent. Pay attention to this. We must not implicate the other clans while denouncing the Meng clan. First, we must shake the entire Jianghu. Mo Tianji sinisterly said, the Meng clan's evil technique has been exposed a few days ago. But, the backlash isn't very big. So, it can't satisfy us. Well, how do we start? Luo Kuwu asked. Do you still need me to teach you this? Mo Tianji snorted and said, we must sacrifice a few people in this matter. And, we must sacrifice a few small clans. I will arrange the next steps. You all listen carefully. Mo Tianji suddenly sat up straight. His eyes were shining as he looked at the people present. First, we must cover our faces and attack. We must use poison or sleeping incense. First, we must exterminate the small clans with young daughters. Then, we must plunder their property. This matter must be done in secret. Mo Tianji's first step had left everyone startled. Second, we must collect a large number of those wandering and begging girls. This matter must also be done secretly. Mo Tianji insipidly said, these two matters are not difficult. I believe that you can accomplish them. Everyone's body shook. Third, one of you must immediately rush to the scene after this matter has happened. Then, you must spread the news from different directions that this matter may be the work of the dark bamboo. Dark bamboo? Why is it the dark bamboo? Xie Danqiong was puzzled. Let me finish. Then, we must continue to investigate. We must find some suspicious points. These families are very rich. Moreover, they have young daughters in their families. Then, we must combine this matter with the disappearance of the young girls and the gathering of the wandering and begging girls in the market. We must use clever means to make people raise doubts and point them towards the Meng clan. Meng Luo needs young girls to practice martial arts. So, we must first arouse the anger of the people of Jianghu. We must quietly wait for some righteous people to come forward and beg our clans to uphold justice. Then, we will reluctantly agree. Do you understand? Wonderful. All the dukes laughed and clapped their hands. In this way, those scattered forces in Jianghu will gather to us spontaneously. We don't even need to spend a little bit of effort. Those who beg us will go around looking for help themselves. Brother Tianji's plan is really amazing. Yes. Mo Tianji faintly smiled, we must take the initiative to attack. We must take the initiative to gather experts. And, this will alert the people. Moreover, the leadership will be in our hands. So, no one will dare to refuse. Because, who would dare to refuse to do this since they are begging us to do this? Therefore, this will prevent some people from being jealous, dissatisfied, and fighting for power. This is the best plan. Of course, we must act as if we are reluctant to do this. We must arrange a few people to stir up the atmosphere. And, we must be repeatedly begged by them. Then, we must reluctantly agree. This will make the people who beg us to shed tears of gratitude. This will be a driving force for us to recruit them into our ranks in the future. Fourth, we must launch an investigation after we are elected. And, the result of this investigation must be an unexpected discovery. The Meng clan has formed an alliance with the OU clan, the Tu clan, the Li clan, the Zhao clan, the Black Devil clan, the Tian clan, and so on. Mo Tianji faintly smiled. He emphasized the words unexpected discovery. From this, we can infer that the OU clan was the one who poisoned the exterminated clans. Remember, You must make this announcement sudden, thunderous, earth-shattering, that kind of effect. Moreover, you must leave too many wild and fanciful thoughts for the people of Jianghu to associate. But there is no harm in leading them to the worst possible association. Why would they form an alliance? Could it be that they want to publicize their evil techniques to dominate the world? Do they want to poison them for 3 days? Mo Tianji sinisterly smiled. It would be equivalent to everyone in the 3 heavens being poisoned if this is the case. And everyone would be in danger in the 3 heavens. We won't need to do anything at that time. They will automatically gather from all directions and gather under our banner. These things must be done secretly. They must be done flawlessly. They must appear very unexpected and unbelievable. But this is how things are, set in stone. It would be perfect if every step could be speculated by others and caused a sensation. Then, we wouldn't have to keep asking questions. And we would be able to speculate this terrifying result. Therefore, step by step, we would take the initiative to investigate righteously. Then, we would be passively elected. Then, we would discover this so-called terrifying truth. And our reputation would become even more popular. Moreover, we would stand on the moral high ground step by step. We would represent righteousness at that time. Mo Tianji mischievously smiled, and those clans would represent evil. Justice will eradicate evil. And it will enforce justice on behalf of the heavens. It will be an irresistible trend. It will be the will of the heavens and the will of the people. There is no obvious righteousness or evil in the 3 heavens. But it can't be denied that people will feel happy if they think that they have done a good deed. Moreover, they will eventually suffer if these evils aren't eradicated. Naturally, they will flock together. When the time comes, the entire Jianghu will be in an uproar. And they will suppress those clans. Mo Tianji gently smiled and said, and our clans will be able to obtain the greatest benefits. From absorbing, dividing, sentimental, heartfelt, caring, and enticing. There will always be too many experts of Jianghu who will join us. When this is over, our clans will be able to truly rise. And those clans will fall forever. This is their opportunity. But isn't it our greatest opportunity as well? If we can make good use of this opportunity to wipe out all our enemies in one fell swoop, we will be able to strengthen ourselves several times over. Make use of the enemy's ambition to achieve our own hegemony. Mo Tianji gently raised his head. His black hair scattered in front of his forehead. His pair of clear eyes looked at everyone present. He casually said, "Wouldn't that be great? First update. Just 3,000 words. I woke up at 4 in the morning to write until now. It's extremely sad. I'm going home soon. I'll write when I come back at night." Chapter 555. By the time Mo Tianji finished speaking, the entire study room was silent. It was so quiet that even the sound of a needle dropping to the ground could be heard clearly. Dongwu Lei, Luo Kuwu, Ji Zhu, Xiedan Qiong, and the others looked at Mo Tianji as if they were looking at a deity. They felt a chill in their hearts. They only felt a chill rising from the bottom of their hearts to the top of their heads in an instant. Too vicious. Too ruthless. Too insidious. Too cold sweat dripped down from Luo Kuwu's head. He couldn't stop wiping it off. Motherfucker, that was really close. I've been fighting with Mo Tianji for so many years, and I haven't been played to death yet. I'm really lucky. If this plan had been used on me, the Luo clan would have been destroyed long ago. If they want to frame someone else, we might as well be one step ahead of them. Mo Tianji said, this way, as long as we are ahead of them, even if Xie Xieyun is assassinated, the Ao clan won't immediately believe that Xiedan Qiong did it. As long as there's a buffer, we can make it in time. Wonderful. The other dukes were sweating. They raised their thumbs at the same time. Brilliant plan. Since that's the case, everyone should take action. Mo Tianji smiled in a very gentle and refined manner as he said, it should be the time for the general attack by the time King of Hell Chu returns. Just in time. Good. After the storm is stirred up, I'm sure everyone won't be soft-hearted about the properties of the clans. I don't need to remind you of this. Mo Tianji smiled. His expression suddenly turned cold. However, I don't want there to be any unfair distribution among us. If there is, I'm sure everyone won't be happy. If there's an internal conflict because of the distribution, it's not impossible. But if there's an internal conflict, it'll be easy for the other party to collapse. Mo Tianji said word by word, I'd like to remind everyone that this isn't just about the spoils of war. It's about our survival. Yes, we must pay attention to this. This way, if anyone dares to take the profits of other clans, we'll attack them together. The other dukes nodded repeatedly and vigorously. They admired Mo Tianji more and more in their hearts. Mo Tianji had already drawn up a plan in just a few sentences. He had set a direction, and had set a plan for implementation. He had even eliminated the path of retreat and any possible future troubles. Now that the plan had been decided, the dukes left the Mo clan as if they were on fire. All of them whipped their horses and went off to make arrangements. Everyone was talented. So, none of them were sloppy. This was especially true for Xiedan Qiong, who bore the brunt of the attack. His heart was burning with impatience. Mo Tianji watched these people leave like the wind. Then, he stood alone in front of the Mo clan's gate. He smiled and said, Chu Yang, you've cured my younger sister. Moreover, you've recommended her to become a disciple of a supreme martial artist. I, Mo Tianji, am sincerely grateful. Perhaps I can't repay you with equal value. However, this is the beginning of my repayment to you. It's beneficial to you, it's beneficial to me, and it's also beneficial to everyone. Isn't that a happy ending? Even if there were some sacrifices, they had no choice. Since ancient times, the victors are kings and the losers are bandits. Innocent people bleed for thousands of miles. What else can be done in this world if everything is done for the innocent? Mo Tianji's white robe fluttered in the wind. His expression was indifferent as he looked at the white clouds floating in the sky. He muttered, Diwu Qingru. I didn't get to fight with you in the lower three heavens. But, I'm looking forward to having a battle of wits with you in the upper three heavens. If such a day really comes, I, Mo Tianji, will die in peace. After all, I've created a battle of the pinnacle for this world. A battle of wits that hasn't declined since the ancient times. I believe that as long as the two of us fight, it will become a legend. He smiled and turned around. Then, he slowly walked in. This time, the Mo clan won't be able to rush into the upper three heavens. However, there will always be opportunities. Moreover, there will be many. His tall figure disappeared behind the gate. Mo Tianji's plan had caused the entire Jianghu to enter into an atmosphere of a storm. He was like a small stone that had been thrown into a calm lake. However, he was able to cause ripples on the surface of the lake. A storm was coming. A storm was coming. A storm was coming. The Ou clan and the other alliances were also having a discussion while Mo Tianji was making these plans. They had taken action much earlier than Mo Tianji. However, they were still a step behind him. After all, they had taken the initiative to ask the other parties to join them. However, Mo Tianji had tied everyone together with the threat of life and death. The Ou clan had never expected that they would be able to sit together and have a discussion with the other great clans at this time. This alliance is for self-protection. And, it's for hegemony. Ou Cheng Wu placed his hands on the table. Then, he solemnly said, everyone must understand that our situation is worrying. The rise of the Jiyu clan, Dong clan, Xie clan, Luo clan, and Mo clan is unstoppable. And, we're standing on the opposite side of them. Geniuses are constantly emerging from those clans. Clan lords, the situation is hanging by a thread. These words had caused the clan lords to ponder. Jiyu Du Xing had appeared out of nowhere recently. His sharpness had shocked the heavens. Dong Wushong had been domineering and awe-inspiring. He had swept through the upper three heavens. Even Luo Ku Di and Ji Mo had suddenly risen. And, this had already aroused their vigilance. However, the news that these youngsters could kill Emperor-level experts had come out of Ou Cheng Wu's mouth at this moment. And, this had increased everyone's fear. Everyone should know that Jiyu Du Xing, Dong Wushong, Luo Kudi, and Ji Mo are sworn brothers. This shows that they have already communicated with each other. And their leader is King of Hell Chu. He has single-handedly overturned the entire lower three heavens with his unparalleled wisdom. And there's also the master of manipulation and calculation, Mo Tianji, in their camp. Now, Xie Dan Qiong has also joined the ranks of the Xie clan. The strength of the Xie clan is also extraordinary. Oyu Cheng Wu added fuel to the fire. Everyone, we can only wait helplessly for death if we wait until their wings are fully grown. But there's no retreat once the chaos of the Jianghu arises. The clan lord of the Li clan, Li Ju, frowned and pondered. He slowly said, we can still maintain the balance now. But we'll either rise directly or perish completely once the balance is broken. We won't even have the opportunity to linger at death's door. There's no retreat. The one who came from the Tian clan was a young man. His eyebrows were as thick as ink, but his eyes were as thin as knives. Occasionally, he would sweep his gaze, and there would be a surge of disdainful murderous aura. He slowly said, I've long wanted to experience what kind of hero that Dong Wushang who swept through the three heavens is. Elder Bu Hui, your wish will certainly come true. I believe that this fierce battle between dragons and tigers will certainly shock the world. The clan lord of the Zhao clan was a stout man. He smiled and flattered. The strength of the Tian clan was far greater than that of the Zhao clan. Moreover, the two clans were not far from each other. The Zhao clan had always looked up to the Tian clan. Tian Bu Hui snorted and said lightly, Dong Wushang is willing to recognize others as his leader. He has already lost his pride. Such a person doesn't have the qualifications to be called a dragon or a tiger with me. The person who came from the Tu clan was Tu Qian Hao. He narrowed his eyes and said viciously, that's right. That Jiu Duxing is also the same. He's the first successor of an aristocratic clan in the upper three heavens. But he actually recognized an ant from the lower three heavens as his leader. It's simply infuriating. It's a disgrace to be on the same level as such a person. It's hard to get rid of this burden in my heart if I don't kill him. Everyone remained silent. Some people thought in their hearts, you've already lost the qualifications to be on the same level as him since you've suffered a crushing defeat at Mount Dingjun. So, what disgrace do you have to speak of? However, these words obviously couldn't be spoken out loud. However, the words of these two radical representatives of the two big clans had promoted this alliance. Meng Luo of the Meng clan had been sitting quietly on one side. He slowly said at this time, that's right. Our hearts won't be at ease if we don't get rid of these clans. There was only one black-clothed and masked youth among them. He was seated in the middle. He said in a non-committal manner, but how do we proceed with this matter? We must come up with a plan if we want to subvert or protect ourselves. We can't let them perish just by talking empty words and acting ruthlessly. This youth was the Black Devil of this generation of the Black Devil clan. No one knew his surname or his name. They also didn't know his appearance. However, he had offended Tian Bu Hui, Meng Luo, and Tu Qian Hao at the same time when he had spoken those words. The three of them glared at him. The Black Devil young master suddenly raised his head. His eyes were like the dark night as they emitted a demonic radiance. Don't be angry. I'll make all of you convinced once this matter is over. Even Oyu Du Xiao coldly snorted this time. Oyu Chengwu hurriedly smoothed things over and started to discuss the follow-up matters. If Chu Yang were here, he would definitely be surprised to see these big clans gathered together. In the next 3 days, 5 of the 12 influential figures had gathered here. Furthermore, she was his enemy. Black Devil, Dark Bamboo, Lone Guest, Poison Spirit, Heavenly Secret, Li Xiongtu, Black Saber Qian Hao, Xie Gong, Dream Luo, Viburnum Flower, Tian Rui. Black Devil, Poison Spirit, Qian Hao, Meng Luo, and Tian Buyu were already here. On Chu Yang's side, there was also Lone Guest, Tian Ji, Black Saber, and Chunghua. In addition, Ji Mo was able to subdue the enemy. They were evenly matched. But this confrontation would definitely make Chu Yang sigh. The 12 equally famous people in his previous life were destined not to live under the same starry sky in this life. There must be someone stepping on the bones of others to get to the top. The AO clan dominates the first place. What's the use of us moving if the AO clan doesn't move? Wouldn't we die in vain if the AO clan decides to help the other side? The clan lord of the Zhao clan, Zhao Wuji, raised a question that everyone was concerned about. This is the question that I'm going to discuss with everyone. Oyu Chengwu mischievously smiled and said, "It's actually very easy to make the AO clan go crazy." AO Xieyun. The Black Devil young master raised his eyebrows. The black radiance in his eyes suddenly burst forth like black lightning. "Yes, it's AO Xieyun," Oyu Du Xiao indifferently said. "I'm sure that I can shift the blame to Xiedan Qiong if AO Xieyun dies suddenly." The eyes of Tian Biyu Hui, Tu Qian Hao, Black Devil, and Meng Luo lit up at the same time. AO Xieyun had firmly occupied the first place among the young experts of the three heavens for a long time. Everyone was proud and arrogant. So, how could they be willing to be suppressed by AO Xieyun for a long time? Wouldn't everyone be able to climb to the top if they could overthrow AO Xieyun? This plan is extremely risky. But, we'll be able to secure victory if it succeeds. Oyu Du Xiao's sharp eyes swept over everyone's face. Everyone held their breath. "I need everyone to cooperate, like this," Oyu Du Xiao slowly explained. Everyone's eyes brightened. Such a seamless and poisonous scheme is simply invulnerable. Their confidence increased a little bit. "This plan is called Killing Yun," Oyu Du Xiao said word by word. "Today, I went home to visit the grave. After that, I came back to drink with my father. Then, I drank while reminiscing about my grandfather's life. Unknowingly, both father and son got drunk. And, they even cried, which made my mother laugh at me for a long time. The update is a little late. Brothers and sisters, please forgive me. Today's recommendation votes have slipped by 2,000 compared to yesterday's. I wonder what will happen tomorrow." Chapter 556. Kill Yun. Everyone frowned in silence after Oyu Du Xiao had finished speaking. And, they started to ponder in silence. Although everyone's brows were tightly knitted, their eyes were shining brightly. The plan of killing Yun had aroused everyone's interest. It had also aroused everyone's ambition. The AO clan had been dominating the three heavens for thousands of years. It would undoubtedly be a heaven-sent opportunity for all the clans present here if they could start with AO Xieyun and provoke the AO clan to mobilize the Jianghu. Perhaps, the AO clan would be able to fight with them, and both sides would suffer. Wouldn't we have the opportunity to replace them if that were the case? However, the most important thing in this matter isn't to kill AO Xieyun. Rather, it's to keep it a secret between us. Our clans will have a meteoric rise if we succeed in this matter. But, we will be annihilated overnight if this matter is exposed. Tu Qianhao sighed and said these words. He was clearly sighing. He was reminding everyone. However, an ominous glint was flickering in his eyes as he looked at everyone. It was clear that everyone would gang up and attack anyone who leaked the information. Everyone remained silent. This matter is indeed no trivial matter. Oyu Du Xiao smiled and said, "However, we might as well make a blood oath about this matter, so that we can gain everyone's trust. Moreover, we can make a blood oath as proof. Even if someone tells the secret to the AO clan, they won't be able to protect themselves if this matter is exposed." "Impudent. Are you the one who said this?" Oyu Chengwu pretended to be displeased as he reprimanded. Zhao Wuji chuckled and said, "Clan Lord Oyu, you don't need to be angry. I feel that Duke Oyu's words are very reasonable." Yes. "Duke Oyu, please continue." Oyu Du Xiao raised his spirits and said, "You must make a poison oath if you want to restrain this secret from being leaked. You must make an oath in the name of your ancestors and future generations. You must make an oath in the name of your ancestors and future generations. Your ancestors will never be able to rest in peace if you leak this secret. You will fall into hell forever." Everyone became silent as soon as these words came out. This kind of oath was extremely vicious. Who would dare to make a joke about chopping off 8 generations of ancestors and future generations, even if they were unpardonably wicked and disrespectful to ghosts and gods? After a moment of silence, the The Black Devil young master slowly raised his head. He swept his blade-like gaze across everyone and said in a deep voice, "If you don't do anything wrong, why should you be afraid of a blood oath? Don't tell me you don't dare." There was already a thick murderous intent brewing in his voice. Tu Qian Hao and Tian Biu Hui simultaneously swept their gazes over. "Good. That's it." Zhao Wuji was the first to respond. "Let's do it this way then." Tian Biu Hui's words were the final word. Immediately, everyone made an oath with their blood. They made an oath in front of the heavens and earth. They even used their blood essence as ink to write the oath of alliance and signed their names. Seeing their names appear on the white paper, everyone had an indescribable feeling in their hearts. But one thing was clear: after today, even if he wanted to withdraw, it would be absolutely impossible. If he succeeded, he would reach the pinnacle. If he failed, he would be consigned to eternal damnation. All right. Oyu Cheng Wu saw that everyone had made an oath, and had written the oath with their blood. He felt happy and relaxed in his heart. He then said, "This matter shouldn't be delayed. Let's start the operation." Ao Xie Yun is still hunting for the blood essence of spirit beasts in the northern wilderness. We can easily deploy our forces. How can we rob and kill him on his way back? Oyu Du Xiao insipidly said, "There's one thing that I need to remind everyone." Oyu Du Xiao pondered for a moment. Then, he said, "Ao Xie Yun has at least 3 or 4 emperor-level experts protecting him. Moreover, he must be protected by the people of the Ao clan. I hope that everyone won't overlook this point. You must remember to measure the strength of both sides before you make a move. It would be better not to make a move if you don't have the confidence to do so. We can take turns to fight." Tian Biu Hui faintly smiled. He casually said, "Moreover, the young lord of the Black Devil clan is an expert in assassination. So, I presume that nothing will go wrong." His voice sounded a little strange. The Black Devil young master coldly snorted. His voice suddenly became very gloomy. "Tian Biu Hui, I will fight you to the death after I kill Ao Xie Yun." Tian Biu Hui laughed wildly. "That's right. Let's take down the country first. Then, we'll fight to the death to decide who will own the country." Tu Qian Hao mischievously sneered, "Let's see who will own the beautiful country in the future." Everyone remained silent. A long time passed before they started to discuss the details of this operation. Everyone knew that this was a very important matter. They would be consigned to eternal damnation if they were careless. Everyone racked their brains, and came up with all sorts of sinister schemes. The final decision was made after 2 hours. "That's it. Everyone, prepare separately. We must kill Ao Xie Yun once he steps out of the northern wilderness. He will be returning to the Ao clan for more than 5,000 kilometers. The next 7 or 8 days passed. But, a reign of terror suddenly appeared in the 3rd day. The Kanglan battlefront had attracted everyone's attention. But, no one cared about it anymore. All the forces of the big clans had been recalled from the Kanglan battlefront. Invisible falcons had even flown to the northern wilderness. They had only one message: urgent matter, return quickly. In the span of a single night, 3 small clans had been annihilated. This had caused an uproar in the 3rd day. After all, no one knew who these 3 small clans had offended. They had repeatedly said that this kind of thing was very common in the 3rd day. The 3 small clans that had been exterminated weren't good people either. They had dug up old scores, and had done many evil deeds. Therefore, some people applauded, and some people clapped. But, everyone was just talking about it, and nothing more. However, 3 days later, 3 more of these small clans were massacred without a sound. 3 small clans had been massacred in succession, and had immediately attracted attention. Then, some observant people had done some research, and had shockingly discovered that these clans were scattered. But, they all had one common characteristic: each clan had a 13 or 14-year-old daughter. Moreover, her aptitude wasn't good. Moreover, the entire clan had been exterminated. All the men had died an unnatural death, and the women had gone missing. Especially, those young girls hadn't been found. Then, the number of young female beggars in the entire 3rd day had also decreased in batches. Moreover, This matter had been done in an extremely secretive manner. One wouldn't have been able to detect it if they hadn't observed carefully. The observant people of the third day had opened their eyes wide. But this time, there had been no movement even after 10 days. It was inevitable that some people would slack off. But, just half a month later, the heavens had suddenly shocked. In one night, 7 small clans had disappeared. The entire manor had been set ablaze. Then, the young female beggars on the streets of a certain district had all disappeared with a swoosh, as if they had been cut with a knife. All these things had been done in secret. But everyone could feel that an undercurrent was surging violently. A storm was brewing in the entire Jianghu. Then, some observant people had analyzed and shockingly discovered that most of the clans that had suffered calamity were around the Dong, Luo, Mo, Ji, Jiyu, and Xie clan. Although they were all very far away, but if one were to analyze carefully, they would be able to see it. At the same time, these few clans had also started their investigations. But this investigation was also somewhat small and careless. It was as if they were facing an imminent disaster. Another night, another clan had disappeared in another direction, and a large number of young girls in a certain district had disappeared. The third day had finally become chaotic. It was boiling. It was as if a large piece of lime had been thrown into a tranquil lake. Slowly, the entire lake had started to boil. An inexplicable sense of crisis had shrouded everyone's heart. The Luo clan was the first to make a move. The clan's warriors had rushed out like a tide. They had dispersed and disappeared without a trace. But, the smart people who had been watching from the sidelines knew that the Luo clan had finally been unable to endure their anger and had started their investigation. Then, the Jiyu clan, the Dong clan, and the Ji clan had also started to make their moves. But, the Mo clan was still watching from the sidelines. They did not show any abnormalities. But, the observant people knew that the new clan lord of the Mo clan, Mo Tianji, would not silently take a beating. Perhaps, he had already started his operations in the dark. The idle members of the Jianghu quietly watched the actions of the various clans. As the days passed, the expressions of the various clans became more and more unsightly. They were indirectly telling everyone one thing: the enemy was very scary, and the investigation was fruitless. Therefore, some people who rejoiced in the misfortune of the clans had appeared. Look, are the clans very awesome? Can't they just suffer in silence? But, some insightful people were secretly worried. These clans have the ability to find out nothing. Doesn't this mean that the seriousness of this matter has reached its peak? Then, some experts had died in the taverns that night. And, some of them had disappeared without a trace. People had gone missing for several nights in a row. Moreover, no sound of fighting had been heard. Some people had woken up to find that the people next to them had mysteriously died, or gone missing. There was no trace of fighting at the scene. This was not the only place where such a thing had happened. Similar news had come from all over the place. An inexplicable panic had shrouded everyone's heart. Everyone had finally realized, this matter is not so simple. Looking at this situation, it seems that someone wants to unify Jianghu. Doesn't this mean that we are safe today? But, we will become the target sooner or later. The panic spread very quickly. In just a few days, half of Jianghu was already boiling over. Today, the clan lord of the Mo clan, Mo Tianji, went out with a calm face. Some people noticed that the number of bodyguards around Mo Tianji had increased by 4 times. What does this mean? The other clans were also doing the same thing. Everyone was silent. They would not say anything. They would not comment on this matter. But, the more they did not say anything, the more secretive they were. And, this made people more nervous. And, the more nervous they were, the more afraid they were. Finally, someone could not hold it in anymore. Chapter 557. Mo Tianji immediately realized that he had miscalculated one thing after he had carried out his plan. And, that was the current indifference of human nature. People were too indifferent to the deaths of people and the extermination of their clans. They didn't care as long as they weren't the ones who had died. In fact, many people were jumping up and down to watch the fun. They were taking pleasure in other people's misfortune. Mo Tianji had collected information about 40 to 50 small clans that met the requirements. He had eliminated 3 of the most notorious clans in his first operation. Mo Tianji's original plan had been to eliminate these 3 clans. And it should have caused a reaction. However, it was an indifference that was beyond his expectations. Mo Tianji immediately realized his mistake. So, he ordered the extermination of 3 more clans. Simultaneously, the operation of collecting young female beggars was carried out simultaneously. And this finally set off some waves. However, it was far from meeting his expectations. So, Mo Tianji ordered the extermination of 7 small clans in one fell swoop. And the operation of collecting young female beggars was carried out in full swing. Then, Mo Tianji saw that Jianghu had begun to boil over a few days later. So, he immediately exterminated another clan. And he added a ladle of oil to this raging fire. Moreover, he eliminated those extremely indifferent people one by one. The minimum number of people dispatched for these operations was revered martial artists. Emperor-level experts were leading the teams. And there were several king-level experts. The scene that Mo Tianji had anticipated finally appeared. He went out on this day, and was blocked in a restaurant. Clan Lord Mo, this old man has something to ask. May I ask if Clan Lord Mo can listen to this old man? The speaker was an old man with white hair and beard. This old man's name was Mo Ruo Shui. His surname was Mo, but he wasn't from the Mo clan. He was an old man. However, he was a king-level expert. Moreover, he was a lone expert within the Mo clan's territory. He had always been a lone wolf. He had always obeyed the Mo clan's jurisdiction. However, he had never completely surrendered. He was a free man who drifted away from the rules. Mo Tianji's target was this kind of person. Old Mo, there's no harm in saying what you want. Mo Tianji stood up and smiled. His face was calm and collected. But he forced himself to smile. And this made people feel that the situation was serious. May I ask Clan Lord Mo? What's Clan Lord Mo's opinion on the extermination of clans? Everyone is very puzzled. Can Clan Lord Mo point us in the right direction? Mo Ruo Shui first thanked Mo Tianji. Then, he impatiently raised a question. This. Mo Tianji furrowed his brows imperceptibly. Then, he recovered his radiant smile and said indifferently, this kind of thing, isn't it very common in the 3 heavens? Hihi. It shouldn't be a big deal. Elder Mo, there's no need to rush. Let's all disperse. The more he said this, the more the crowd didn't believe him. Not only did they not disperse, they stood still and refused to leave. Clan head Mo, don't underestimate this matter. I'm afraid this matter is extraordinary. Mo Ruo Shui stroked his white beard and said, the Mo clan's clan lord naturally has a plan in mind. So, this old man doesn't dare to ask too much. But, I'm being nosy. What's the result of the clan's investigation? Mo Tianji's face darkened, and he said indifferently, Elder Mo doesn't need to worry about this matter. You're getting on in years, so it's better for you to have some leisure time. These words were not polite at all, but everyone present was shocked. Mo Tianji's expression seems to be as if someone has poked his sore spot. Does it seem as if he's flying into a rage out of humiliation? Doesn't this mean that he doesn't have any good methods to deal with this evil person who's secretly attacking us? But, we'll slowly run out of luck if these big clans don't care about this matter. How can we not be anxious? Mo Ruo Shui didn't get angry. He said earnestly, this old man has a few humble opinions, huh? Mo Tianji looked at him without any change in his expression and said, what's Elder Mo's opinion? This old man went to the scene of the extermination of several clans in the vicinity in the last few days to take a look. Then, this old man found that blood was flowing everywhere, and corpses were piled up like mountains. The murderer's methods were too horrible to look at. The scene was messy, but this old man found something. He smiled somewhat proudly as he said this. Then, he took out a tightly wrapped green jade brick from his bosom. He opened it layer by layer, and everyone found that there was a corner on it. It was purple-black in color. Mo Ruo Shui pointed at this purple-black area and said, The murderer did it very cleanly. But this brick is obviously poisoned blood. Only someone who has just been poisoned, injured, or vomited can have such a bloodstain. Moreover, it can only appear intensely poisonous if it's sprayed on green jade or white jade. This kind of poison can't be detected after someone dies from the poison. Mo Ruo Shui stepped forward and softly said, "If this old man's eyes aren't blurred, this should be the poison of the poison spirit." The poison of the poison spirit? Mo Tianji couldn't help but exclaim. Then, he lowered his voice and warned in a low and serious voice, "Elder Mo, you can't casually say these words." Mo Ruo Shui became somewhat depressed. "You're telling me not to casually say these words? Didn't you see that I've already lowered my voice to speak to you alone? But you're so startled that everyone heard it. And you're giving me a warning instead? What's the use of that?" Mo Tianji grabbed that green jade brick and turned it over and over to look at it. The more he looked at it, the uglier his complexion became. He brought it to his nose and sniffed it. Then, his complexion became extremely gloomy. Everyone had clearly heard his scream a moment ago. So, there was complete silence. Poison of the poison spirit? Oyu clan? Did the Oyu clan do it? Why? Mo Ruo Shui's complexion became awkward. He suddenly felt that he couldn't advance or retreat. He stared blankly for a moment. Then, his complexion became resolute. He threw caution to the wind and said, "Clan Lord Mo, there's one more thing. I don't know if Clan Lord Mo has discovered this. These 10 destroyed clans used to have a daughter, who was known as a genius. She was 14 or 15 years old. Moreover, many young girls have gone missing during this period of time." Mo Ruo Shui clenched his teeth and said, "Moreover, many experts have mysteriously disappeared." In this, Mo Tianji wrinkled his brows and pondered. He shook his head after a long while. "I know what you're talking about. But this is unimaginable. How can they have such big courage? They're overestimating their capabilities." Mo Ruo Shui heavily said, "It's better to be safe than sorry." Mo Tianji hesitated and didn't speak. His complexion was somewhat conflicted. It seemed that he couldn't make up his mind. "Clan Lord Mo, only a big clan like yours has the power to resist and save us now. We won't have a way to survive if you..." Mo Ruo Shui's words were very pitiful. 2 of his old friends had gone missing one after another in a few days. Moreover, one of them had been killed. This had filled his heart with a sense of crisis. "This matter, we'll discuss it again. I'll think about it carefully. I'll take a look at the situation. After all, this isn't a trivial matter." Mo Tianji comforted him. "Old Mo, you don't need to worry about groundless things. You're highly respected, and your martial strength is outstanding. They may not necessarily dare to lay their hands on you." Mo Ruo Shui opened his eyes wide. "Clan Lord Mo, why do you still need to consider? I've made it so clear. What are you still thinking about?" Mo Tianji stood up and said with a smile, "Old Mo, you don't need to worry. Well, that's it. I'll go back first. Besides, those 2 clans won't be able to stir up any big storm. It's all right." He swaggered away after he was done speaking. Mo Ruo Shui stood there in a daze. Everyone in the surroundings swarmed over. "Old Mo, what did you say just now? I didn't understand." "Old Mo, please explain. The poison of the poison spirit, is it the Oyu clan? And the matter of the little girl, what's the connection?" Mo Ruo Shui's face was haggard. He heaved a long sigh and said, "It's the Meng clan. Everyone should know about the Meng clan's vivid spring dream divine technique. The Meng clan and the Oyu clan have joined hands to do this if this old man's guess isn't wrong. Jianghu is going to be chaotic. Everyone, I wish you all the best." Mo Ruo Shui heaved a long sigh. His eyes were full of unwillingness. This old man wanted the Mo clan to come forward. So, the scattered people of Jianghu like us would be able to protect ourselves. But it seems that the clan Lord Mo still can't make up his mind. Sigh. Everyone started to discuss spiritedly. Yes, such a super clan is the safest place right now. But Mo Tianji clearly doesn't want to come forward. So, what can be done about it? Everyone sighed and dispersed. The next morning, the news spread out 7 people had silently died in the inn at night. And Mo Ruo Shui had suddenly and inexplicably encountered an enemy attack the previous night. He had risked his life to rush out. But he was also covered with cuts and bruises. In fact, he had almost lost his life. Suddenly, a dark cloud covered the sky. Everyone felt insecure. So, almost no one dared to speak loudly. Then, another news spread out: the Ou clan and the Meng clan had joined hands. Moreover, several other big clans wanted to dominate Jianghu. Many people gathered around Mo Ruo Shui after they received this news. Mo Ruo Shui pondered for a long while. Then, he waved his hand. "Carry me to the Mo clan's courtyard. This old man will kill himself if the clan lord Mo doesn't do anything. Moreover, this is a major event in Jianghu. The Mo clan will be destroyed overnight if they succeed. So, I don't believe that the clan lord Mo can remain calm." This group of people immediately put on a show in Mo Tianji's courtyard. "Is this true?" Mo Tianji fiercely stood up. He had an excessively shocked look on his face. Then, he hurriedly paced back and forth. His complexion was exceptionally ugly. He then waved his hand and ordered, "Investigate. I want accurate information." It didn't take long for the accurate information to arrive in front of Mo Tianji. Mo Tianji let out a long sigh. It's a pity that Jianghu is in a state of disunity. The people's hearts aren't united. Otherwise, sigh. The powerless sigh made the people of Jianghu lower their heads. They felt ashamed in their hearts. Why should the Mo clan shoulder the burden of everyone's problems? Then, these people started to move. More and more people rushed to the Mo clan from within a radius of several hundred kilometers. The same situation was playing out in various places at the same time. The people of Jianghu had been scared out of their wits. They had pestered the big clans, and had cried out in pain. But they had been left with extreme helplessness. Then, they had reluctantly made a decision: all the clans would join forces to investigate. This investigation immediately uncovered a shocking conspiracy. Ou clan, Meng clan, Tu clan, Zhao clan, and Li clan wanted to eliminate dissidents and dominate Jianghu. The Jianghu was in an uproar. This news was like a gust of wind. And it stirred up a pool of spring water for 3 days. Chapter 558. Chu Yang had been trying hard to compress his strength during this period of time. He had advanced too quickly some time ago, and the after-effects had appeared. He had never reached the height of a king-level expert in his previous life. Therefore, Chu Yang had crazily increased his strength. He had not only increased it for himself, but also for his brothers. Sword Spirit had desperately suppressed it, and Chu Yang had desperately improved it. Until he had broken through to the 5th grade of king-level expert, Chu Yang finally understood why Sword Spirit had suppressed it. The 5th grade of king-level expert was like a huge fermenting gas. It had blown up his self-confidence like a pig's urine bubble. Self-confidence had exceeded a certain limit. It was no longer self-confidence, but arrogance. This kind of self-confidence seemed to occur naturally after surpassing this level. It was like a heart demon that was impossible to guard against. Chu Yang felt that there was no one else besides Meng Chaoran who could rely on his own strength to pass this level peacefully. Especially when Chu Yang found that he still felt that he was the best in the world when he thought of the great master-level expert's might. People would scold you for being arrogant if you were overly confident in peacetime. But being overly confident in the 3 heavens was akin to courting death. Therefore, Chu Yang had been crazily enriching himself during this period of time. He had been crazily consolidating himself, and had been tempering all the skills that he had mastered before. He had been constantly using some basic movements to fight crazily. He had been further absorbing and squeezing. He had not only been forcing himself, but had also been suppressing Rui Biu Tong and Tan Tan at the same time. He had also summoned Jiu Du Xing and Dong Wu Shong back, and squeezed them as well. Suppression. Chu Yang knew that if this kind of arrogant self-confidence really went overboard and dominated his character, then, no matter if it was him or Jiu Duxing, both would be finished. This is the period of frustration. The younger brothers of big clans will send people who are slightly stronger than them after they reach the 5th grade of king-level expert. And they will ruthlessly defeat them. If the first time doesn't work, they will do it twice. If the second time doesn't work, they will do it thrice, or even 10 times. They will do it until this arrogance is completely eliminated. Sword Spirit said, the reason why everyone in the 3 heavens is so manic has a lot to do with the 5th grade of king-level expert. That's because not many people here know about this. And there are even fewer people who know how to avoid or correct it. This level is called the collapse level, because it only collapses. One's self-confidence collapses. And it collapses. Then, one's self-confidence collapses. Only now did Chu Yang deeply understand. Collapse stage. It was indeed the collapse stage. During this period of time, Chu Yang and his brothers had been fighting hand-to-hand, except for the occasional fight in the wild. They abandoned their weapons and fought with pure physical strength. Dong Wu Shong, Jiyu Du Xing, Tan Tan, Rui Bu Tong, and even Chu Yang himself were covered in bruises every day. Every day, he would fall asleep in pain. Every day, he would be in extreme pain, and gradually erase this bit of arrogance from his heart. In the end, he was completely proficient. It was completely round and transparent. From a sharp stone, it had turned into a piece of beautiful jade that was beginning to take shape. It was about to blossom with dazzling colors. During this period of time, their cultivations remained in the same place, not moving at all. However, everyone seemed to feel that they were completely different from before. Their calm and reserved state of mind announced that they had passed the collapse stage. At this time, 3 months had passed. Then, Chu Yang took the 4 brand new brothers and went to look for Luo Ku Di and Ji Mo. Dong Wu Shong, Jiyu Du Xing, and the others were gobsmacked when they met. Is this still the slippery Luo Ku Di? Was this the same lazy Ji Mo who was always out of tune from day to night? Luo Ku Di's face was cold and solemn. His body was as straight as a sword. There was a cold and bloodthirsty look in his eyes. He stood there like a sharp sword stained with blood. He was exuding a chilling, murderous aura. 5th grade king-level expert. Ji Mo's eyes were somewhat dull. However, the imposing aura on his body was extremely fierce. He was like a general who had led an army to the battlefield. And his entire army had been annihilated. He was the only one left to face millions of enemy soldiers. However, he was still hot-blooded enough to fight to the death. Unyielding. He stood there like this. However, his thin body was like a deep abyss and a high mountain. One man could hold the pass against 10,000 men, 5th grade king-level expert. However, these 2 were 5th grade king-level experts. And they were different from Chu Yang and the others. They didn't need to pass the collapse stage because they were the pursuers. They had always felt that their hearts weren't as good as others. So, they were desperately trying to catch up. So, where would they find the time to be arrogant? Moreover, these 2 wouldn't have the opportunity to be arrogant in front of these abnormal people in their entire lives. I've seen you. Tan Tan suddenly exclaimed in pleasant surprise. He pointed at Luo Ku Di. He helped me in the past. This guy is very interesting. He's more to my liking. So, it's you. Luo Ku Di also smiled. That cold and stern aura suddenly disappeared with this smile. Then, Luo Ku Di regained his former self. He winked and asked, how was it? Did you get young lady Xie? Tan Tan heaved a long sigh. I got her heart. But I haven't gotten her yet. You're so useless. Luo Ku Di looked at him with disdain. I'll teach you a trick. Do you want it? What? Tan Tan's eyes lit up. Let's talk about it later. Luo Ku Di spat out his saliva in disappointment. Who cares if her family doesn't agree? Let's bulge her belly first. Don't agree? Fuck. Why won't they agree? When that time comes, humph humph, you want your daughter to marry me quickly. But I'll have to think about it. Good plan. Tan Tan's eyebrows twitched up and down for a while. He was so happy that he couldn't close his mouth. Also, how could Ji Mo be lonely when he heard this topic? He immediately moved closer like a cat that had smelled blood. He blinked his eyes sneakily. This is a technical job. You don't know anything. So, it's easy to mess it up. Wait until we go back. Then, I'll teach you a few tricks. This is an important matter in life. You can't be careless. You don't have the corresponding skills. So, you can't do it. Tan Tan nodded repeatedly. He beamed with joy. You two are good people. Helping others is a pleasure. This is what a chivalrous man of our generation should do. Luo Ku Di and Ji Mo put their arms around each other's shoulders. What nonsense are you talking about? Ji Duxing roared. Are you two itching for a beating? Both of them laughed evilly. Then, they pulled Tan Tan to pass on their experience. Luo Ku Di's voice was faintly heard. Ji Mo, why do you look so experienced? Could it be that you've already consummated your marriage with your Aobua? Ji Mo's black-faced voice was heard. A child shouldn't ask about this kind of thing. Luo Ku Di laughed strangely. His voice was full of ridicule. Then, the sound of chasing and beating was heard. It seems that this guy hasn't succeeded yet, Dong Wushong said in a deep voice. I'm afraid that he would have bragged about it if he had succeeded. Ji Duxing nodded and said with emotion, yes, I know Ji Mo well. I'm afraid that he would have even described the positions clearly. This guy is shameless. Chu Yang and Rui Butong looked at each other in amazement. It wasn't because Ji Mo hadn't succeeded. Instead, it was because Dong Wushong and Ji Duxing were teasing each other. And, the rarest thing was that they were echoing each other. There was basically no one left in the northern wilderness. Chu Yang also planned to go back with his brothers. Chu Yang and his brothers once again plundered some elixirs in the last 3 days. Then, they set foot on the return journey in high spirit. This king-level expert of the Jiyu clan, who was also an expert of the Heavenly Armament Pavilion, had already returned with the people of the Dark Bamboo. The 7 brothers didn't have any worries on the way back. So, they walked at lightning speed. Only Chu Yang turned his head back to take a look at the northern wilderness when he was about to leave. 2 supreme-level experts have taken away my dreams here. My master has left from here. I don't know how little Wu Wu is doing. I don't know how master is doing. Chu Yang took a deep breath of the cool air of the northern wilderness. Then, he spat it out with all his might. It seemed as if he had spat out the indescribable sadness in his heart. Then, he insipidly said, let's go. Ji Mo and Luo Ku Di carried the weights as they stepped out of the northern wilderness. Chu Yang rolled his eyes. Each of the 7 brothers was carrying 1,000 kilograms of star iron on their backs. This was twice as much as the time when they had come. However, the 7 of them were in high spirits as they chased after each other. None of them said anything. But, they were secretly competing in their hearts. Let's see who can't hold on first. Anyway, it won't be me. Everyone felt that they would be the last one to hold on until the end. The curtains of a unique competition had been raised here. The 7 brothers didn't expect that there would be a huge wind echo and trouble waiting for them thousands of miles away. They were leisurely joking around as they walked back at a neither fast nor slow pace. Dong Wushong was thinking that he should have a talk with his elder brother after he got back. But, how should he talk? Dong Wushong was sweating profusely while carrying 1,000 kilograms of star iron on his back. Ji Duxing was thinking, should I consider marrying sister Xiao Miao in advance after I get back? What should I say? Ji Mo was thinking, should I push Aobua down after we get back? His tilde, but, that girl has a stocky back and a bare waist. I'm somewhat worried that I won't be able to control her. It would be very embarrassing if I were to be thrown to the ground. Can I consider sleeping incense an aphrodisiac? Tan Tan was scratching his head. What they are saying seems very, well, hey. How about I look for that little girl Xiedan Feng to practice with after I get back? Rui Butong was thinking, motherfucker, I should find one after I get back. How did I unknowingly get paired up? But, who should I look for? This is really troublesome. If I can't find one, I'll just steal one. Luo Ku Di was a little worried. Should I say it? Can Big Brother help me? This is really strange. Not only is there no hair, but it's also... Sigh, what should I do? It's really troublesome. If I say it, will Big Brother laugh? I'm really too ashamed. Chu Yang was thinking along the way. This time, I'll be back for 3 days. I should go to the Lake of Despair to find the 4th fragment of the Sword of Calamity. Regarding the collapse stage, I'll say a few words here. This kind of blind self-confidence is also present in us. It's really scary. Take myself as an example. When I was writing The Legend of Ling Tian, I was trembling with fear as if I was treading on thin ice. But, when I was writing the story of the otherworldly evil monarch, because I had some achievements, my mentality immediately became unstable. I felt that I was afraid of no one. But, in reality, I was just a fart at that time. Others wouldn't even look at me in the eye, haha. That was the mentality of a nouveau riche. It was very twisted. At the beginning of the story of Pride, I was full of confidence when I opened the book. But, I was hit in the head and was completely awakened. Only then did I realize how wrong I was. So, from then on, I defined a position for myself, forever a newcomer. Don't ever think that you're so great. Without the readers, without you guys, I'm really just a fart. I hope that I can go further with this mentality. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.